Love you, Michael. This stream's dedicated to you. Welcome. Merry Christmas Eve. Hello, Michael in heaven. The stream's dedicated to you. Hi, little Jewel. I'm great. How about you? How's Africa? How's your tattoo, little Jewel? Look, I got my tattoo, little Jewel. We both got tattoos. So I'm going to preview this by telling you guys I'm not going to be talking to chat today. When my mods and all my mods get here, they're going to be in charge. Why? So I can talk about Michael. Michael died 5 years ago today, Christmas Eve, an hour before midnight. Hi, Lone Wolf. So this is a memorial stream. This is my Michael Alig stream. So we're going to start it off with a song. From that time. So if you guys know who Michael Alig is, he was one of my best friends. This stream is dedicated to him. I dressed up for him. We're going to read his prison letters. We're going to talk about him. You're going to know things that nobody else in the world knows because you're going to get to read the prison letters with me. So we're going to do this one song, and then I'm going to go into it. Let's let everybody come in. I'll show you my outfit. I dressed up in a Club Kids outfit just for Michael. My name back then was Princess Jen. We all had a club name. My club name was Princess Jen. And if you want to hear Michael and Ernie calling me that, I made a short of it today. So this is what we would have worn at the club. And we would have worn shoes. Platform shoes are a must. These are 9-inch platform heels. So let's be clear what we're doing. Let's get ready. I was an original club kid. Cleveland sect. I hung out with RuPaul. I hung out with Lee Bowery. Michael Alig and I were best friends. They were on the Geraldo show. They stayed at my house. House music all night long. I would have worn it if it was a club. Michael would have wanted me to wear sequins today, so I wore sequins today. Check this out. Go on, girl, and act a fool. Princess Jen. That was my club name. Go to my shorts I put up today and see Michael Allen calling me Princess Jen. You want to see put it up? How's your body? Say, how's your body? How's your body? House music all night long. I'll have to. Sweet daddy, bring it on down. Merry fucking Christmas! Christmas Eve! Check out my new tattoos. Oh. I won't call you Danny, but Danny's here, so I'll say Danny. Here in my hut now. Okay. We did it. We did it. So Michael's in the house. Hello, Michael. I asked him to come and he is a ham. Do you know how I know he's here? Because he knows I'm doing the stream. He's a fucking ham. He used to have his own YouTube channel called the PU. PEE-EW. I'm out of breath from the dancing. Let's fucking go, Claire. Exactly. So, I want you to all go subscribe to the PU right now. Because it still is being run by Ernie Glam, also my close friend. If you look on my shorts today, I made a collab. It's old. It was their 10th show. But it's where Michael Alig and Ernie Glam received one of my dreadful dolls. It was a doll I made. I like to recreate already famous dolls. Michael was an artist and he made a very famous painting of a zombie girl. It was a little girl in pigtails in a red dress jumping rope, and she was a zombie with her face decaying. So I made a dreadful doll of that and I sent it to Michael, and that he put on his little PU show. And it was used for several PU shows after that until one of his friends, which was some transgender woman, like took it on some like pride parade or something, and she was carrying it around and she was like, fuck this doll, and she slammed it to the ground. I actually got in a fight with Michael over that. We didn't talk for a few days. I was like, what the fuck you letting that fucking tranny bitch doing that for with the doll? He was like, it's fine, it's not broke. I yelled at her, it's fine. He's like, you shouldn't be mad at me. And there was like numerous emails of like him like why I shouldn't be mad at him, but I did give him attitude about it. But the doll was fine, you guys. Michael and I had a unique relationship. Okay. You guys know my relationship with Daisy. I like to compare it to that. He was a lot like Daisy. He could hold a conversation, so that was different, but he was nuts. He was absolutely nuts. But I loved him. And when everybody else hated him, I still loved him and I was still there. Why am I honoring a murderer? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do with this stream. Okay? Joe, if you say what I'm going to explain the story. So if you'd like to listen, you can shut your fucking mouth and listen, because if you say one more word about Michael or my friend Angel, I'm going to ask my mods to take care of this. Okay, no disrespect, just wondering. Then shut your fucking mouth and listen, because I'm going to talk about it. Angel was a friend of mine. Wow is right, Joe Brogan. You want I just take you out the right the fuck now? Because I'm telling my mods right now, this is a memorial stream. I'm going to talk about what Michael told me to my face on the phone while he was in prison on why he murdered our friend Angel, okay? And that's not in any book that you'll read by James St. James, because what James St. James wrote in Disco Bloodbath is all lies. And that's not coming from me. You'll hear many interviews from Michael saying that. So anybody in this chat who comes in here talking shit like that, I'm going to ask my mods to delete them right away. You will come in here with respect. I'm going to ignore chat for a while I tell this, okay? But after that, I will take questions. You probably won't have many because I'm going to tell you everything. Okay. You're going to hear shit today you're not going to see in any documentary. My shit that I own is about to be in a documentary on the ID channel. So let's give respect where respect is due. Okay. Thank you, Joe Brogan. But you came in hot and you're talking about two of my friends. Okay. And it's a heavy situation. And to me, it's not gossip. One of my friends is dead today because of heroin, and the other one is dead because of him. And yes, he did cut him up, but he did his time for it. Okay. So you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it because you're going to hear a lot of stuff. First of all, some people have no idea what I'm talking about. So we're going to do this. We're going to introduce you to Michael Alig. Okay. Party Monster, the trailer. I'm going to introduce you to Michael, and then we're going to go on. But there's going to be no smack. If someone comes in here just being nasty, I want my mods to take them out immediately. This is going to be a long stream. It's going to be a hard stream for me. It's going to be fucking raw. And Michael's here. I fucking promise you. I asked him for signs the last few days. Do you know that a fucking commercial came on the TV yesterday with Macaulay Culkin and a disco ball? If that's not a sign, I don't fucking know what is. Macaulay Culkin played Michael in the movie Party Monster. If you've never seen the Party Monster trailer, here it is.
I think it's so important to begin with a bang, don't you? One day, I realized I didn't want to get up in the morning, go to work. I'm like, king of the I want you to teach me that exactly. So dream it to be. So it should come as no surprise that I ended up in New York City. I wanted to create my own world. One big party. You need me to promote this place. We'll see. You won't regret this. You've gone too far with the drugs. Does it fast, and they're watching around the clock. It's paranoid. Michael, where's my money? Anything, any line missing? Angel.
Hey, clever.
You should just tell yourself that. I'm getting away with murder, and you're just jealous. How do you even support yourself? He's a drug dealer. But you want to know how I got rid of the problem? Okay, this is like a killer. Okay, well, you're going to have to pay for all of this. Because of me. People know who you are. I'm sorry. You
Michael. Now that's the fake story. That's the fake story. That's the dramatization. That's the one where they had James St. James while Michael was in jail saying, it went like this. James St. James said, I was the club kid and I taught Michael everything. Yeah, he did that to the movie people while Michael was in jail. No, it was the other way around. James St. James is a nasty, nasty little piece of work faggot. And he rode Michael's coattails from day one. And the second Michael got put in jail, he used that to his advantage to make money and write that book, Disco Bloodbath, which is all lies. And you can find interviews from Michael hearing that that book is all lies. Michael and I talked about it extensively while he was in jail. Okay, so there's that. So if you want to see the real story, here's what you do. YouTube.
From a place of love.
Watch this. Michael Alig shockumentary. Not documentary, shockumentary. Yeah, the book's garbage. Michael would be very upset, and it only lines the pockets of James St. James, who I know well. I let him stay at my house numerous times, but all we did was fight, and he's lucky I allowed him to stay there. Let me find the shockumentary for you. Here we go. Okay. Party Monster documentary. You can find it on YouTube. It might take you somewhere else, but this is what you need to watch. Okay. This is Michael. Here's the real footage. I'm going to give you a second of that. My makeup, I did it in Club Kids makeup. Let's go look at it. My makeup and my attire is for Michael today. My Club Kids name was Princess Jen. Let's look. Can we see? Yes, and I wore sequins for Michael and a tutu and 9-inch heels. Do we see the heels? Do we need to see them again next to Mr. Black? Yes, we do. We don't play. And I'm walking around like it's nothing. So thank you for noticing my makeup. I did it for Michael. So let's look at the shockumentary for a minute. We're going to look at a couple things before we get into the letters because I want you to know my Michael. The way you guys have seen me and Daisy act on stream, how we're like hair flip, hee 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 hee, and scuba doob. If you've ever seen Party Monster, you know that Michael Alig had his own language. Him and I talked like that all the time. We played like that all the time. That's why I kind of love Daisy in the way I did. I digress. Shockumentary. Just a little bit. We're going to show you a little.
Every night he had this.
That's Elkie, his mother, who I'm also good friends with. Not only like Daisy's mom. Yes, I'm friends with Elkie too.
20 candy bars. Pack the box. Put the little discount stickers on, and he would jack them up by 200%. Like if we bought 5 for $1, he would sell them for like $1 a piece or something in school. And his nickname in school became Michael the Candyman. And after a while, the principal.
Michael, you're going to get arrested. I'm going to report you. Michael, you make the best donuts.
So this is an outlaw party. Michael used to throw parties at McDonald's, at the Subway, at the Dunkin' Donuts. These businesses would not know what was coming. He would just call on the phone all of his friends and say, "Party at 8 o'clock, be at McDonald's," and everyone would come in full attire. They were called outlaw parties. Our friend Nelson Sullivan, who also has a YouTube page, filmed all of this. So please go check out Nelson Sullivan's YouTube page. There's Michael Musto. He's a very famous journalist. I know him very well. He also hung out tight with our group. Let's fast forward. Let's see what else we got here.
American capitalism and
there's Desi.
They would make fun of all.
Desi is now a very famous makeup artist. There's Michael Musto. I was just talking about him. You can find him on E. I've done a lot of ecstasy with Michael Musto, you guys. He's a pretty cool dude. Let's see what else they have to show us here.
Oh, Michael, what a nut. What a nut. He made me, I drank, one time I drank pee and I drank vomit from Michael. 2 different times. And stupid me, you know, I guess when I have my wig on, I'm just an extra dumb blonde. He handed me a Gatorade bottle. And I said, "Oh, thank you." And then picked it up and he took a big swig, and he and his friends all laughed at me. And
okay. So Michael was known for doing that. That was one of his things. He always made people drink piss. He thought it was hysterical. Oh, wait. Here's the lady that broke my doll or tried to break my doll. Oh,
Peter Gates would
there
have
she is.
these wild parties.
I don't remember her
You know,
name, but
at-
she's
at
the lady who was like,
various
"Fuck this
hotels
doll,"
around
and
the
threw it on the
city where they
ground.
consume
She's an absolute cunt. I don't even know who she is. There's Gitsy. I met Gitsy before she died.
All I remember is
Okay, there's
telling
Michael in
everybody
jail.
how good I felt. That I've never felt that I finally.
Yeah,
reached
his
that
mother's
point
still
where
alive,
I
and
was
she's
trying to
doing
get
very
out.
well. She's actually
And
dating
that
again.
was the perfect
And
time to-
Michael had a brother who was totally normal. I think he's a lawyer, and so
And I told
they're very
everyone,
close. They live in
"I'm going
Indiana.
out there," and then
I haven't talked to them in about a year.
Gitsy.
Gitsy.
And Gitsy, I think, tried to give me.
Okay. I want to talk about Gitsy for 1 minute because if you've seen the movie Party Monster, they portrayed Gitsy to be Michael's girlfriend. Michael never had a girlfriend. Michael never wanted a girlfriend. Michael was gay as they come. Okay? He is handsome. Michael is extremely good looking and he could have been a model. He should have just fucked all this shit and been a model. And he was extremely intelligent. Boy, and he wasn't that educated. He didn't go to a lot of schools. He did go to one college in New York for a little bit when he first left Indiana and he came to New York. What college was it? I wrote some things down for you guys so I wouldn't forget. What college was that? Fordham University. Okay, so when he left Indiana because he felt he was gay and he couldn't survive there, and it was a little small farm town, he was going to go to New York and be a star, and he certainly did, didn't he? But he did go to university for a while, and he was very smart and he was very handsome. Um, especially when he was in jail. Honestly, the times he would, what are we doing? I must stop stream to show this. Muggsy, are you attacking your brother Baxter? We're trying to do a serious stream here and you're getting wild. Okay, Baxter, you might have to go in the living room if you're gonna. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Okay, my mods. In this. Okay, I'm just gonna be real blunt and raw. I'm extremely emotional. I'm holding it together. I had a good cry before the stream happened. I might cry again. I might lose my train of thought. If I lose my train of thought, I want my mods to remind me. Heather's not here. She always reminds me what I'm talking about. So, there's some points I want to get across to you guys, and I don't want to fuck them up. So yeah, his mother I still talk to, but not a lot, once a year. Her and I were very close back in the days when he was in jail, to the point where when I was a stripper, I would send her money. I would send her Louis Vuitton backpacks. Once I sent her a diamond necklace for Christmas. That's how close I was to her. Michael would ask me to do things for her because he couldn't. Ernie. I tried so hard this week to reunite with Ernie or Rue to get one of them to maybe say something on this live stream. You can't get to them. Ernie has taken down his Instagram to the point where he can't get messages. Like, he has an Instagram, but you can't receive messages. I know how that is. I took down my Instagram for the same reason. I didn't want people contacting me. If I could have gotten a hold of Ernie and he knew I was doing this, trust me, he'd be double live streaming here, right here, with something on his face talking about Michael. So, I told you that I got a sign from him yesterday, the Macaulay Culkin commercial. That's insane. Never saw that commercial before. Was asking for a sign for Michael, and there's Macaulay Culkin with a disco ball. Cheers, Michael. Thank you for the sign. Michael's a ham. He loved being on camera. Similar to Daisy the Venice Healer, right? If anybody was photographing him, he was like, you know, he loved it. He is still a ham wherever he is, and I feel his vibe. And every year at this time I do. I'm going to tell you why it's so sad for me. Michael and I talked the whole time he was in prison. It wasn't a popular place to be because, yes, he did kill our friend Angel. But I stuck by him, and I was one of maybe 5 to 10 people that did. When he came out, he moved in with Ernie immediately so that he wouldn't have any responsibilities. And Ernie and his husband took care of him, kind of gave him a room in the apartment. There was a gallery that was interested in all of his paintings. They said, Michael, all you have to do is come here a couple times a week, hang your paintings, let's have a show, and you'll be famous. A year went by and Michael couldn't handle that. And he had already had all the paintings made from jail. I have pictures of them here that he shot with a Polaroid camera and sent me in prison. I will show you those. But he just couldn't get on the right track. So the last few things I heard about him, not even from him, about him, the last few times I heard from him, he was a mess. And I could tell he was methed out. I could tell. And his whole point to getting out of prison was that he would never do drugs again, because that's why he killed our friend, because of drugs. So I did hear from Ernie about 2 weeks before the death, or maybe it was 2 months. The timeline's a little confusing to me. It was 2 something. It was close to his death. And I got the real story that, yeah, there was a boy and he was manipulating Michael. And Michael was very easy manipulated by boys, especially younger guys. And this was a young, cute raver guy. He had drugs. He was into drugs. He wanted Michael to go to Queens and get meth and deliver it to Manhattan. And Michael was telling Ernie, well, I'm not doing the meth, but he was acting erratic. So Ernie was like, I'm kicking you out. You're not going to stay here anymore because you're obviously doing meth, and that's not okay after what happened. So Ernie kicked him out. Michael got his own little apartment with his boyfriend, I guess, in downtown Manhattan, but the boyfriend never showed up again, so Michael was alone. I I was told that he was just doing meth nonstop. And then he started doing heroin again nonstop. And I said, well, I'm going to talk to him like I always did. That's like you guys, me talking to Daisy, right? Never works. And I was told, hey, no, leave him the fuck alone. Give him tough love. He's making his own bed. Let him make that bed and let him discover that what he's doing is wrong, and we'll all walk away and he'll realize what he's fucking doing wrong. So we did that. So then I heard 2 days after Christmas that he had died, Christmas Eve, an hour before midnight, in his new apartment alone. Was it suicide? Was it an OD? There is no proof. What it is stated is accidental overdose. I know him. He loved heroin. He loved heroin. And if he was doing the heroin that's around now, which isn't heroin, is a bunch of fentanyl, that would have killed him. They said in the toxology thing, whatever, there was other drugs involved. There was no note. So that's what makes everybody think that he did commit suicide. But you never know with Michael. He was very sad. He was also very happy and loved life. So what happened? What happened? Your guess is as good as mine. So Mister down there wants to know why I defend this guy who cut up another person. I'm going to tell you what Michael told me in jail, okay? I'm going to tell you why he told me he killed Angel. Angel was my friend. Angel stayed at my house twice. I only met the club kids 3 times, and all 3 times they stayed for a week and they stayed at my house. My house was a huge artist loft downtown Cleveland, okay? They had a hotel room that was paid for by Gation, by the owner of my club, and no, but they stayed at my house. Hold on, let me get my thoughts straight here about this. Well, I was never in a Club Kid documentary because I am the Cleveland sect. I've never been to New York. They were flown to Cleveland. So you wouldn't see me in any documentaries, and I'm not that important of a Club Kid to be in a documentary. I didn't hang out with those guys in New York at the Limelight. No, they came to one other place when they traveled, and their club owner was friends with my club owner, and they were flown to Cleveland. And even us, the Cleveland Club Kid sect, we traveled. We were paid to go to Detroit, to Columbus, places like that. So we were well known. No, you're not going to see me, but if you look on my page right now, you'll see me on a flyer with RuPaul. You'll see me in pictures with RuPaul and Sacred Boy. So there is that. The reason Michael told me he killed Angel was because he didn't remember, you guys. He told me this in prison. He said, I don't remember it. He said, I don't remember the 2 weeks ahead of time. He goes, I do barely remember knowing that there was a body in my bathroom, knowing I had to cut it up. And I told Freeze, which was also our friend, he said, I told Freeze to go get me this amount of heroin, and then I would do the deed. Now, this is what he told me in jail. He said that he asked for so many blah, blah, blah grams of heroin. He knew that was 10 times the amount he usually took, and that would kill him. So he was going to kill himself before he had to do that, because he was so fucked up on heroin, he didn't realize what was going on. He did that heroin. Freeze got that heroin for him. He didn't die. So in his crazy, fucked up, drug-induced mind, yeah, the body that was in his bathtub, he dismembered. They had just bought a new TV. They had a TV box in the living room. They put the torso in the TV box. I don't know what they did the rest of the pieces. I never asked that part. But the torso ended up in the TV box. But guess what they forgot to do? Take out the styrofoam. They drove it to the Hudson River and they threw it in there and it floated. That's how high they were. They couldn't even figure it out. My friend Angel laid dead in that bathroom for, I don't know, they say a week. Who knows how long it really was, right? And Michael and his friends put a mattress in front of the bathroom. I have videos of that bathroom. They put a mattress in front of the bathroom door and they had parties in the apartment while Angel was dead in there for a week. And people would say, I got to pee. And he'd say, no, you can't go in the bathroom. There's plumbing issues. So that went on for a long time. Why do I still love Michael? I don't know, because I do. Yeah, I love Angel too. So you'll hear in the short that Michael say that I was in charge of their Club Kid Facebook, right? That was decades ago. I haven't been on Facebook in a decade. That was a long time ago. I also had created a page for Angel Melendez. He was also my friend. As I told you, the club kids came 3 times. The first 2 times they came, stayed in my apartment. There was Angel with all his wings and glory. When he came to my apartment, he'd take off the wings, and he was the most down, chill dude. He was a dude with the drugs. I think he was Latino, Puerto Rican, maybe something like that. And he was so sweet. And the third time they came, he wasn't with them, and no one knew why. I'm not going to really be reading too much of this chat. I will take questions at the end, but I get people like Nutter in here saying, I don't think you were really a club kid because I've never seen you. Well, right, right. The only pictures I have of my club kid days are on my page today. We didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have cameras. I wasn't a New York club kid. I was a Cleveland club kid. But I'll tell you what, the New York club kids, they weren't traveling to Florida. They weren't traveling to California. They weren't traveling to Texas. They were traveling one place because there was club kids there, Cleveland. Their owner, Peter Gation, was friends with our owner, Angela Verdun and Avon Verdun. They were buddies. They were club people. Peter Gation owned Limelight. So these rich people all and they all paid for this to go down, and it went down over and over and over again. The one time was George Wayne's party, birthday party. That was the excuse to have the party. So that's the flyer where you see me and RuPaul, and that's not photoshopped. We didn't have Photoshop back then. That's me and RuPaul with our arms around each other, and my head came up to about his waist. There's another picture of me and RuPaul and Sacred Boy and a bunch of other kids around. That's a black and white shot there. So yeah, that is the proof I have. I wouldn't sit here and talk about this story if it wasn't true, and I wouldn't have the proof I have. So do you want to get into the proof? I'm now going to stop reading chat. I'm going to ask my mods to keep control of this chat. This is a memorial chat. Yes, my friend murdered my other friend. He also did his time, and he's also dead. So I'm going to explain some things to you from my heart. We're going to read some of these letters, and Michael's going to explain some things to you from his heart. So you take that or leave that. And if you want to judge me for being friends with a murderer, I'm married to one. So how about that? Catch me outside, bitches. Taking the shoes off so I can concentrate on this. I'm sorry the image is not bigger. Look at those. Look at these beautiful things. Look at that. Have you ever seen such gorgeousness? No, you have not. Okay, let me see how this looks. And I already have my chat scrolled back, so it's not even moving for me. I couldn't tell you if Janny's in here calling me a cunt. I have no idea. But I'm going to ask my chat to explain to people what's going on, to be respectful. And if there is anyone in here just trying to be hurtful or disgusting, I want you to remove them. Because that's not what this stream is about. This stream is about Michael Alig, the good parts of him, how he did his time, and how he was my friend. And we're going to hear some things from him. I keep this very, very... Well, I guess I should ask my chat. Okay, Claire, I see you're my last mod that spoke. How is this? Can you see all right? I think that's good. So let's get all this out of here. Here it is. Yes, thank you, Claire. Okay, because this is about the best I can do, and I want it in the sunshine because it's sun shining out, and I think it's a good place. Here is letters, art, a lot of the stuff. Okay, I have it wrapped up in a bow. What I would like to do is get one of those display cases that people like if a guy gets like a football helmet or a football, like a display case, clear plastic. I want to get one of those and put these in here just like this with this bow of skulls on it. So let's look at what we have here. And there's a lot, and none of it's in order. You must remember, and well, you don't, I'm gonna just retell you, I've done this stream twice already on this channel. But fucking Melissa took my channel down and I lost all my content. So I'm having to redo this again. This is actually the third time I've done this. So we're gonna do it better than we've ever done it. We're gonna look at all this. Do you realize how much of this is? And where are we coming from? Coxsackie, New York. This is the one he hated most, Elmira. They moved him around a lot. Why? Because what he got, what the judge gave him, I think was originally 10 years, which you guys, for killing someone and cutting them up, I think he should have probably gotten longer. But when he was in jail, he was a bad boy and he got in trouble and he got more time, and more time. So I think he ended up doing like 12 or 14 years because he kept having people bring drugs in. So let's find another one. So we have Coxsackie, Elmira. He was at both those places and he was getting moved all the time. Elmira, oh, and Southport. Here's the other one. So here's one from Southport. So these are all the places he wrote me from. Now, back in the day, you must understand, we had regular telephones. We didn't have cell phones. So yes, every day, numerous times a day, ring, ring, ring on the phone. Hello, would you accept a collect call from blah, blah, blah prison? Michael, in his little voice. Of course, I would say yes. He would talk to me for 20, 25 minutes every time. In the Elmira jail, it was all stone. It's a very old prison. He said they had no heat, no air conditioning, and they kept him in his cell 23 hours a day out of 24. They let him out into the yard alone once a day. But he was able to see through a small slit window the yard, and I guess one of the Menendez brothers was put there for a while. And Michael liked to talk to me about that a lot. He had a very big crush on the Menendez brother who was there, and that's all he could think about. I had also sent him pictures of Skippy, and he thought Skippy was very hot. So he liked to talk about Skippy a lot. Hold on. Muggsy, go over there. Go right on the pad, honey. Okay. So letters, Michael Alig, Michael Alig. Should we start out with something like this? I have to deal with Muggsy. Muggsy. Okay, put him in the living room. So, this is a Christmas card. He every year would send me Christmas cards. He would make them. This is hand painted. Looks like with maybe watercolors. We're going to open it and let you look. I'm going to read it to you. Merry Christmas and happy wedding to you. Congratulations on catching such a hunky hubby. Photos. I need more photos. You should have had your reception at the haunted castle, the Franklin Castle in Cleveland. I hope you're both well. Have a really nice holiday. XOXO heart, Michael. I don't know if you guys are able to see that. There you go. So that was a Christmas card he sent me. Let's just pick up a letter and see what he's saying. And it's a good one. Do you know how I know? Here's how I know. Okay, so this one's handwritten. What do you think's going on here? Okay, so there's an X on the back. Do you understand why? I've explained it before. Let me tell you why. Michael's in prison. They don't just give him paper. He has to buy it. He was also writing a book at the time. His last name is Alig, A-L-I-G. He was writing a book about his life called Aligula. Nice little play on words, right? Aligula, like Caligula. Cute, right? So he was busy writing his book. That's what he did in his spare time in his cell when he wasn't writing people. So he had to edit his book. He had an editor at that time. It was going to be published. And the editor would say, "Oh no, Michael, this will not do. This is too much. This is too crazy." So Michael would edit that paper out, and instead of buying new paper, he'd just use that to write me. Haha. He never published that book because he died, you guys. So this is his letters to me. This on the back with the X's in it, this is his life story in his book. Okay? So there's a lot going on there. This is page 3 and page 5. So, and there's stuff in here I'm not going to read you. There is a lot of private stuff in here about his health. He was having health issues at the time, and I'm not going to talk about this. I'm trying, so I will be quiet for a minute and try to look at parts that I can read you. Why don't I just try to read you this part on the back first, which was part of his book. Let's see if I can read this in his handwriting. Let's see. The three of us made our way to the dark, candlelit room to a giant hole in the wall, a brick wall where we climbed through. It's hard to read. A lot had changed. It was the same old dilapidated dance hall with that huge, dusty crystal chandelier hanging precariously over the ballroom, but it looked like someone had put a bit of money into the place. Plush red carpeting was still there, covered the floor, the balcony, which was finished with new furniture, green velvet, Louis XVIII sofas, settees, gold rocker tables. Even the sound system seemed better, crisper. The piano sounds and bass, riffs of the house music thumping loudly, made the balcony and chandeliers shake. The whole place was about to collapse. We stood there for a moment talking about it, all in the door. New and imported world. My Skull is Fabulous edition. The whole package, and I could tell by the looks of Kiyoki and Julie's face that they were thinking the same thing. Okay, and that's it. So, Julie and Kiyoki. People mistake me for Julie, okay? Julie Jules was a very famous New York club kid. She came every time to Cleveland. She looked like me. She was a young, pretty girl with blonde hair, and she was extremely straight. Not a lot of straight people hung around with the club kids. I also was one of those few people. Even back in the day, I wasn't bisexual. I wasn't doing the girls. No, I was always the straight girl. So that was rare in that club. Everybody else was bisexual or gay or whatever. So Julie Jules and I resembled each other. You know, she was a straight girl of Manhattan. I was a straight girl club kid of Cleveland. So Kiyoki. Kiyoki was Michael's first boyfriend in New York, DJ Kiyoki. I have a big history with him as well. You should listen to his music. DJ Kiyoki, he's on YouTube right now. He spells his name Keokie. I don't know if you recognize the name Kiyoki, but you guys know the story of my tombstone, my angel statue. Yeah, her name was Mary Kiyoki Monroe. So long after Michael was in prison, long after I hadn't spoken to the club kids or been a club kid for a decade, I lived in a part of Cleveland and was just bartending and stripping. Well, my ex-boyfriend that stole the angel statue comes home with a bunch of his friends. They said, "Hey, we met this DJ at the club. We brought him home." It was DJ Kiyoki. He had stayed at my house 3 times when we were club kids. I looked at him. He looked at me. He's like, "Jennifer?" I said, "Kiyoki." I'm like, "Welcome to my house. These weirdos just brought you over and had no idea." We're laughing hysterically. The angel statue was in that house. Okay, that was the film building. I said, "Kiyoki, check this shit out." It was Mary's tombstone. The only thing it said on it was Kiyoki. He said, "What the fuck?" I took him aside. I told him a story about how asshole who just brought you over here stole it, and we're kind of fucking taking care of it till we can get it back to where it belongs. He's like, "Whoa." and he had taken a bunch of pictures of it. I remember he had me take pictures of him next to it. So Kyoki, DJ Kyoki. Hi, Heather, you're here. So we're going to go back to the letters. Heather, Claire, paper seatbelts. My mods, you're in charge. I'm going to stop reading chat again. If assholes come in, remove them or explain to them what's happening because I won't be talking to chat. We're going to go on with these letters. I will take questions at the end, but when I feel the need like this to stop and inform you guys of something, I absolutely will. I know people have questions, and they're not my usual people. They're not Heather, Claire, you guys. You guys, this is extra for you. There are people that watch me just for this. Okay, there are people that are underground club kids that are waiting on this stream. So let's find in all this, we have pictures, pictures, pictures. Oh, here's the original flyer I was telling you about. Here's the flyer of me and RuPaul. Okay, so this is not photocopied. This is not photoshopped. That's Ru. Okay, he was wearing a leopard dress. That is me. It was a costume party. I was dressed up as Salome from the movie Salome's Last Dance. It's a Ken Russell movie. Please go watch it. Ken Russell directed it, Salome's Last Dance. I was dressed up as Salome. So they thought it was cute to put us together because Ru was the hugest person in the building and I was probably the tiniest. I'm not even 5'1", you guys. RuPaul is 8 million feet tall and he was wearing heels. So this is the actual flyer and it says Rome returns. This was for Aqualon. The name of the club I worked at was Aqualon. You can Google Aqualon on Google and you can see inside pictures of it. It's in the flats. It was around for a long time and then it closed. When it closed, what happened to it? It was closed forever. It's still closed. And you know what? It was rented out as an after hours bar for LeBron James for a while. When he was done with his games, he would go there and party. That I know. So here it says the paparazzi of New York arrive in Cleveland. George Wayne's birthday party. George Wayne. And I still to this day am not sure exactly who he was. He was like a type of Michael Musto type person. He was a journalist. They were really celebrating his birthday. And this was a birthday party for him. It says, did you hear about the now famous Bacchanalia at one of America's top 5 nightclubs, the Aqualon in Cleveland, Ohio? I'm not saying this because it's my birthday, but the Aqualon truly rates. Just ask any of the 20 New York celebutants who came along to make this my most memorable birthday ever. George Wayne. Oh, Paper Magazine. That's where he was from. So this quote was from George Wayne about us in Paper Magazine. I'm just now getting that memo. Okay, so Aqualon cordially invites you to the party of the year, Underwater Rome, February 1991. February 1991. Get your photos taken by the paparazzi of New York. George Wayne from Paper, Steven Saban from Details, Patrick McMullen from Interview. Sponsored by Continental Airlines, the Ritz-Carlton Cleveland, and the Cleveland Playhouse. DJ Rob Sherwood, legendary Cleveland DJ, who I fucking hated, by the way. We worked together for a long time and I couldn't stand him and he couldn't stand me. So there's that. But there's the original flyer. Let's get back to the pictures. So I told you when Michael was in jail, in the commissary, he was able to buy an old school camera with film. With that camera, they allow him to take pictures and then someone gets it developed for him, whether it's staff. I'm not sure how that worked, but that's how he explained it to me. He thought I was special enough to actually send me some of these pictures. Like, I don't think he sent these to everybody, you guys. So I'm going to show them to you. And he has written things on the back. And these are the photos and the pieces of art that when he got out of prison, that he did eventually put in that gallery. And I don't know if anybody eventually bought them or if they still hang there or what, but these are what he sent to me. Okay, so here's a painting and it says Big Bunny on the back. It's of Lady Bunny. Lady Bunny is a very, very famous drag queen in New York. She also hung out with the club kids. I believe she was there back in maybe the first or second time that she came with the club kids, but I didn't talk to her or hang out with her, and she did stay at my house. And I didn't really like hang with her. So I do think she was there once or twice and they were friends with her. So there's his very famous painting of Lady Bunny. There's his handwriting on the back. Big Bunny. Okay, so this is another one he drew. It's called, it says on the back, boy huffing aqua. Yeah, huffing. So that's a canvas he painted of a boy huffing something in a paper bag. Yeah, that's Michael. Okay, so we have this one. 500 milligrams of fabulousness. So here's another painting he did. It's obviously of a pill bottle, and this is 500 milligrams of fabulous. All these pieces hung in the gallery when he got out of jail. Here is Lee Bowery. This is a fucking picture of Lee Bowery. All 3 times when the club kids came, Lee Bowery came. Lee Bowery is an OG. Lee Bowery is iconic. Lee Bowery is more famous than anyone that I'm probably talking about right now. Lee Bowery stayed at my house for the first time for 3 or 4 days. Lee Bowery never once took off his mask. I never saw Lee's face. There was meth being done. There was drugs for days. People were up. People were relaxing. Shirts were coming off. Lee Bowery never took off his mask. You could tell that he was older. He was probably like in his 60s or something, hanging out with a bunch of us kids, and he was a gentleman. But he did as many drugs as we did, but he kept his mask on. Lee Bowery. G. Okay, now I'm going to show you something about these pictures that is just amazing. And I thought I had another one in here, but I think it's lost in the sauce. I do want to show you these 2 things next. Here's what I want to show you. Look at the picture. You know what means so much to me? Not that he sent me a not a Polaroid, a picture. Not that he was making art and sent me. Do you see this? Can you make out what this is? It's his shadow. That's Michael. So as he was shooting this shot, he got his shadow in the picture. It makes this so beautiful to me. We are looking at Michael's shadow right now. You guys, when you see me stream, I always show you my streaming shadow. There's something spiritual about a shadow. Let me get Mugamu. You want to come up here? You want to talk about the letters with me? Okay. Bugsy needs to come up. You want to see Michael's letters? All right, there you go. When I was friends with Michael, I didn't have Muggsy, but I had a dog who was also a little Chihuahua, and his name was Slim Shady. And I would send pictures of Slim Shady to Michael all the time. Okay, we're going to go through these couple things first, because they're Christmassy. Another Christmas card. A sketch of a snowman. Looks like it was done in pencil to me. And it's just ripped in the shape of a card. Look at it. He sent me these cards year after year. From prison. Okay, so I'm going to read you this one. December 5th. Merry Christmas, Jennifer. I hope you and your mom are doing well. I was talking with my mom then, and my mom was also talking with Michael, and she would also talk with Michael's mother, so they all knew each other as well. I hope you and your mom are doing well and having a good year. I'm still writing and painting and trying to keep my body from sagging so I can find my true love when I go home, just like you did with Skippy. Drop me a line sometime. I miss hearing from you. Love, Michael, with a heart. And I keep telling you guys how he reminded me of Daisy, and he was like Daisy. You know, he was very needy. He needed a lot of attention. And so sometimes I would have to step away from him for my own mental health. And it wasn't like I was mad at him or anything, but when you're getting calls from, jails all day and it gets overwhelming. So once in a while I would give it, a month and I wouldn't get in contact with him, but it was nothing bad. And I would always get in recontact with him. Okay. So here's another Christmas card. It has a Grinch on it. If you guys know about my Grinch shit lately, how funny is that he gave me a Grinch card, drew me a Grinch card. So you see, again, just made like a little Christmas card, very small. I will read it to you. This one doesn't have the year on it. December 8th. Merry Christmas, Jennifer. I hope you're doing well and having a great holiday with your sexy hubby. I miss hearing from you. Write me one of these days. I should be learning my release date sometime toward the end of next year. I hope you have a nice year. Say hi to your mom for me. Heart, love, Michael. Okay, so that's another Christmas card. Now here's something. This is the only postcard from him I ever got. How amazing is this? Okay. How gorgeous is this? Okay, so Michael Alig from Elmira. So this one comes from Elmira prison. Crazy they gave him postcards there. He must have had to buy this, right? So let's read what this one says. Blah, blah, blah. Jennifer up. Oh, here. Jennifer, Merry Christmas. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well and having a great holiday. I finally got a lawyer who has agreed to take on my medical neglect case. He's filing a lawsuit ASAP. Write me. I love you, Michael. Okay, so that's the part I'm not really going to talk about is his medical stuff. He did have a lot of medical stuff going on. And there's a lot of that in these letters. So I will be skipping over that part. I'm just seeing Peter Gation's name here out of the blue, so I'm going to read it too. It just says, get stabbed and killed. Why on earth would Stephen leave Peter Gation for such a sport? When Peter was on the verge of opening the biggest, most fabulous. Again, Peter Gation was the owner of the Limelight, and he was friends with the owner of my club, Aquilon, Angela, and Avon Verdreen. Let's see what this says. July 14th, 2007. No, what does that say? No, July 7th, 2014. That makes much more sense. Look it says, look who it's addressed to. Right between my fingers, read there. Dear Jennifer and Skip. Ah, Michael Alig right into Skippy. It was so he loved Skippy. Dear Jennifer and Skip. Congratulations. You guys look so happy together. I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. If you could hold off a bit, maybe we could do it in yours, or maybe I can. And a smiley face. You guys should come visit me, though. The visiting room there has an air conditioning, so it isn't hot and sticky like the rest of the facility. Oh, listen to him. He's hot and sticky. I think you should definitely get married at that abandoned castle, the Franklin Castle in Cleveland. So this must have been before Skippy and I got married. I love that place, and it's haunted, and I've seen it on TV. How come no one buys it to live in? Is it for sale? I would buy it. Is it in condition that could be fixed up? It really is beautiful. So he's talking about the Franklin Castle, which Skip and I have been in. We talked to him about that quite a bit. It's about 10 minutes from here. I would do anything to live in a house like that. I've always wanted a Scooby-Doo secret room behind a bookcase door. Do you hear that? Does that remind you of anyone, you guys? I'm telling you. I've always wanted a Scooby-Doo secret room behind a bookcase door. It's one of those things I have on my list of things to do and things I want to do once I'm released from prison. Advice on how to get fucked? Question mark. Oh my God. He says, I don't really want to get fucked. I'll let someone do it if they want to, but I'm not into it these days. Okay. He's talking about having sex. And when we do it, it has to start off very slowly. Maybe with fingers. Okay, Michael, he's getting crazy here. He would talk about sex a lot because I think he was horny because he was in jail. Okay. I'm really puzzled about what you said about Sacred Boy. I called Christopher Comp last night and we talked about it. He agrees with me that Sacred and I left off on good terms. Maybe you can bring up Christopher Comp to Sacred Boy if you talk to him again. Ask him to contact Christopher. His number is blah, 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 blah. He needs to see that and talk to Sacred Boy, and this one stumps me. Pebbles and Lollipop were here on Monday to visit me, and we were all talking about Sacred Boy. Pebbles is in touch with him all the time, and she said that Sacred was even talking to her about you, Jennifer, and how much he loves you and how much he misses Cleveland. She is coming up here again in 2 weeks, so I will ask her. I can't imagine Sacred being, I'm just glad that he's doing his makeup and he's done well. I will ask Pebs about it. It freaks me out. Okay, so that's what you get for that. You want to know about Sacred Boy? Okay, I'm going to tell you about Sacred Boy. Sacred Boy is my friend Brian Schneidmiller. I hope you see this, Brian Schneidmiller. Where are you? We were in touch. Oh, God, this TR is killing my head. The last time we were in touch is when I had Facebook, so maybe a decade ago. Sacred Boy was my roommate in Cleveland. I talked to you about this place I lived, this artist loft downtown Cleveland. It was huge. I lived there with Troy and David, just us three, and it was huge. And we all worked at Aqualon. Angela and Avon Verdun, the owners, they lived 2 floors up. So we all lived in the building. Shit, now this has come to my attention. Okay, I'm gonna stop that story and I'm gonna show you this one. We will get back to that story. This one I need to show you before I forget about it. The bookmark, and then we will go back. I know I'm doing a lot of backtracking, but this is hard stuff. So, I've showed this on my live streams before, and I told you that. I had 2 prior live streams on this channel doing exactly what I'm doing now, and I showed this bookmark. This got to someone, and I received an email one day. That email said, I know you were friends with not only Michael, but Angel. I see you have a bookmark that Michael made about Angel. I'm doing a documentary about Angel Melendez for the ID channel. Can I use that? I said, of course. So I sent her the whole story that I knew about it that I'm about to tell you. And I sent her pictures of this. Okay. Maybe hard for you to see what it is. It's just a piece of construction paper like when you were a kid. And it's laminated. Under the lamination, here is a picture of an angel. And it even says angel. Yikes. With wings. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot for me to receive from Michael from jail. Okay. Under that, there are some letters here. IZP written. I don't know what that means. Here, there is a star. Here, it says the words angels on earth. Do you even? Let's go further. Here, it is just the tiniest cut piece of vintage Victorian, like filigree wallpaper. It is just a vibe. And what is this? It is a rhinestone. Michael, who killed Angel, made this in jail a decade later and sent it to me. Okay. Like, I don't even know what to make of that. Oopsie daisy. Now I'm doing something to chat. Hold up. So that will be featured in an upcoming documentary on the Discovery Channel. And it will be a documentary not about Michael, about Angel Melendez, who Michael killed. So why did Michael kill Angel? Because he was on drugs and he wasn't thinking straight. Okay. Michael told me in jail that he didn't even like Angel. That he let Angel hang out with him and the crew because Angel had really good drugs. And if you watch old interviews on the Shockumentary, and there is another documentary called Glory Days with a Z, you will see interviews of Michael before he killed Angel, and Angel will come around and be nice to Michael, and Michael will be like, get the fuck away from me type shit. Well, what happened at the end was that Angel had a lot of drugs. He got a big score. He got a lot of heroin, he got a lot of meth, he got a lot of weed, he got a lot of shit. Michael said, why don't you keep it in my apartment so it's safe? Because you're running around the streets, why don't you just keep it here? So Angel, being stupid, did that. And they had made friends with Freeze. And Michael, Alig, and Freeze basically sat around and did all the drugs. All of them. And then when Angel came back for his drugs, which he owed money for still, and he called them out on that, those 2 boys killed Angel in that apartment. They didn't just kill him. I mean, they killed him with a hammer. once he was dead with a hammer, they, and I do mean they, both of them, admitted to getting Lysol, putting it in syringes, and like putting it in his head and shit. Like bad shit went down, okay? Ugly shit. Shit that I do not condone. Shit that I would never be friends with someone if they were in the right mind and knew that they were doing that, and that's the type of person they were. I do believe that Michael had gone the wrong way and didn't know what he was doing. Why do I believe that? Because he told me that many times on the phone in jail. So look for that. Let's see if we can find something else. Here's one still in the envelope. Shall we try that? Let's try one on the envelope from Elmira. Oh, this looks like a good one. Here we go. February 25th, 2005. Dear Jennifer, thanks for your letters. I have with many O's, so much to tell you right now. I hope you're sitting down. Actually, it's not bad. It could have been much worse, I suppose. I don't even know where to begin. Well, I guess I should start by saying thank you for the blanket and lotion. Okay, so sometimes I would send things to his commissary if I could, and you couldn't just send money, you had to buy him something. So I bought him once a real fuzzy purple blanket so he could be warm because he was cold in there. And I bought him lotion because he's a boy and he was very gay and he was worried about his skin being cracked. Okay, so that is that. Blah, 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 blah. I went to the package room and saw it all sitting there with a yellow property sign with my name on it. And I got very excited. Thank you so much. I hear okay, here's something interesting. I hear what you're saying about James. He's talking about James St. James and what he said on the tape. His excuse is that he made a mistake and meant to say protective custody instead of solidarity or something like that. I'm not really so concerned, to be honest. He said TBH. Look at that. Michael said TBH. To be honest. Brutal. I'm not really so concerned, to be honest. ... There are so many other things going on right now that I have to pay attention to. You'll see as you read further. I'm still amazed that you get away with the old booze switcheroo thing. It's such a devious trick, and you'd think most guys who frequent these kind of places would be onto that kind of thing, or at least looking for it to happen to them. Oh, I was explaining to him how when I was a stripper, I would drink fake drinks with the guys. Well, maybe not, but still, aren't you afraid one of these guys will want to drink out of the same bottle as you? And if they catch on, what would happen? You better be careful. I worry about you in that business. Okay, here he's talking about genitalia. If you guys know genitalia, she's a very famous club kid girl. She was very wild, very manic, very drug addicted. She used to have 2 pierced cheeks, you know, the pierced cheek things. Last I heard, she was doing wonderful things, working with girls' shelter and being sober. So here he talks about her. Jenny does work with females now, but they're all very young. It's a nonprofit organization that provides counseling and after-school programs for underprivileged girls in the East Village. They have a building where the girls hang out and where there is a gym and stuff, art programs. Jenny counsels girls and helps and says she has never been happier in her life. I'm glad she's out of the club kids and off of drugs. I am so glad a book of crazy paintings of bottles of K, Coke vials, and other stuff being sold for money for these young girls. That's a bit twisted to me, but I appreciate the irony. Interesting. Oh my God. Here we're talking about rohypnol pills, roofies. Okay. So I used to love taking roofies, and so did him. So did he. So he says, you used to break your rohypnol pills into quarters, question mark. And then he says quarters in capitals. He says, ha, you break them into fourths, and I take 4 whole pills. exclamation. I just love a way a good rohypnol feels, though. So warm and cozy, and the aftertaste is sweet and heavy, especially when you take them with champagne or wine. Yummy, he says. He says, I hate mornings. They remind me of coming down or going to get more. I do have fond memories of riding in cabs to this or that dealer's house, picking up more ecstasy or coke or speed or K or rohypnol or ecstasy, coke, special K, and rohypnol. I think in New York was the only place where there were dealers that had everything you need at one location. So convenient. Oh, this is funny. Him and I were talking about Macaulay Culkin in the movie. I was saying things. Him and I always used to make fun of Macaulay Culkin and how he played him. So I must have said something and he's replying to me. So let me read this to you. This is actually pretty amusing. I totally know what you mean when you say you'd like to see Macaulay Culkin all Xanaxed out. How hot would that be? All sweaty and droopy lidded. James says there are a few scenes in the movie where he's that way and where he was just the most sexy thing ever. You know, there are those who would say that our sexual attraction to boys who are drugged and incapable of making decisions is, well, wrong in some way. They wouldn't understand it. But to me, it makes perfect sense. My God. Dead. That's right here. That's right here. Should we continue with this letter? Because this is pretty good. Oh, this is pretty good. Okay, for now, for the other news, yesterday I got myself into a bit of trouble after being caught using another inmate's pain meds. I'm not even sure what they were. To be perfectly honest. I think they may have just been over-the-counter cold pills. In fact, but whatever they were, they tested positive for some kind of upper in my urine. Just barely, but I'm dirty. So I got in trouble. And as punishment, they gave me 172 days, loss of packages, and loss of telephone privileges. I know it may not sound like a very harsh punishment to you, and I suppose it could have been much worse, but it really hits home with me because most of my food comes from the outside. I'll survive, of course. I just have to get more food from the commissary. And another punishment is that I can receive only one visit per week in this 170-day period. It sounds complicated. Blah, blah, blah. He goes on about his health a little bit, and I don't really want to talk about that, and I don't think he'd want me to. So that's the drama of the week. I haven't told Larry yet because it just happened, and he's planning on coming to see me soon, so I have to let him know. Excuse me. Don't tell Larry yourself, Jennifer, though. I want to do that on my own. I think he might feel, I don't know, it should probably come from me personally. Okay, so Larry. Larry. I wish I could remember his last name. Larry was a very wealthy millionaire that used to like to go hang out with the club kids at the Limelight. He bought them all the drugs. He'd take them out to the Waffle House afterwards and buy them anything they wanted. Michael, he got him anything he wanted, but he was super fucking straight, okay? So he was kind of like Michael's pay pig, but he was straight. So when Michael was in jail, Michael was still talking to Larry a lot. He wanted to hook me and Larry up. This was before Skippy. So he wanted me to go on a date with Larry. Larry was coming to Cleveland. I agreed. I'd seen Larry's videos. I knew who he was. He wasn't that attractive, but he was very wealthy. And I thought, at the very least, we'd go to a nice restaurant, have a bottle of champagne, and talk about Michael. Well, it was super weird. I met him at Morton's, downtown Cleveland. Larry met me there. He was so rude to the waitress that I immediately hated him. He was the most pretentious asshole I'd ever met. Instead of us ordering a bottle of Dom or something, which is what I wanted to do because he was very rich and I drank back then and I wanted champagne. Do you know what he did? This rich man brought into Morton's Steakhouse his own bottle of champagne. I don't know what it was. I never heard of it. Apparently it was very wealthy, better than Dom, but I didn't hear. Who cares what it was? It was fucking rude. And then he made the waitress open that for us and drink that. And then he like talked down to her. He was a total fucking asshole. I ate the steak dinner. I hung out with him. We actually went to another bar close by afterwards, and then I called it in the night. I had a headache and I had to go home. He was a real asshole. So that's Larry. Let's see if we can find something a little more juicy. Let's put the tiara back on. Shit. Don't let me hit the wrong button here, please. And I did mean to have this on the whole time, not me. Hold on. There. But then that probably takes away from some of what you can see, doesn't it? Michael Alig Memorial Stream, 1966 to 2020. He died 5 years ago today, an hour before midnight. So he was still alive. I wish he would have made better decisions that day, you guys. I miss my friend very much. In my life, I haven't had a lot of good friends that I've connected with. You guys know Daisy was one, and she's crazy as fuck. You know now that Michael was one. I wasn't a fan. He wasn't someone I met a couple times. He was a friend of mine for decades. We loved each other. We went through things together. I know things about him that I'll never tell you, okay? He was a beautiful soul. He did a fucked up thing. He did a real fucked up thing, and he knows it. He never got a good night's sleep. He had nightmares every night. He talked about Angel all the time. He loved Angel at the end. He didn't like Angel when he was alive, but after he killed him, boy, did he love Angel, and he said a lot of things about him. So let's go with something else. Here's one that's still in the thing. And it's all got, these all have my maiden name. So look, it's made out to Jennifer Becker. Jennifer Becker. New York State Department Correctional in, and look how they write that. Can you see that? Can us focus? No, of course. Okay, there we go. And here was his number, 97A6595. 97A6595. That was his number. That was his jail number. No matter what jail he was in, from the moment he was booked to the moment he was released, no matter where they moved him, this was his number. Let's open this one. It has a unicorn stamp. I hope he likes the sequins I'm wearing. I did wear the sequins and the tutu just for him. I was Princess Jen to him. He did think of me as a little doll. He used to call me his little doll. When he came to Cleveland, he would bring extra outfits for me, and he would like to dress me up. We would walk around the club together hand in hand. And Ernie was there. There was also someone there that I don't talk about a lot, Goldilocks. Goldilocks was a very, very famous club kid back in the day. I believe he's in that picture of me and RuPaul and Sacred Boy. He's the one with the dreadlocks. Goldilocks hung out with us all the time. He was nonstop with us. He ended up moving to Rome. I believe he lives in Rome now. So Goldilocks, if you ever see this, how's Rome? What was our drug of choice? Meth. We were doing meth, okay? Back in, it was 1989, 90, and 91, 92, when we were hanging out. That's when they were coming over from their club to mine. They brought the drugs. Of course, we had drugs where I was too, but they brought the drugs, okay? Angel came with a backpack, wearing his wings, but more importantly, Ernie had a lunchbox. The first time I met Michael, he was sober. He didn't do drugs. He didn't even drink. What do you think about that? Interesting, huh? And that's when I bonded with him. He still hung out at my house with all of us. We were up all night doing shit, but he didn't drink or do drugs. The second time he came to Cleveland, Michael had his own lunchbox. It was filled with the best ecstasy that you could not get in Cleveland. MDMA tabs that were pressed, that were They probably had heroin in them because every time I did it, I puked. You'd peek and you'd puke. And that didn't happen with the stuff in Cleveland. Also the meth. So they were big on meth. Ernie always had a lunchbox full of meth. It was just white crystal meth shards. I think they called it crank back then even. So yes, that was the one time in my life that I was experimenting with that. I never smoked it. I never did, what people are doing. I think people even shoot it these days. No, we were snorting it like cocaine. Yeah, it kept us up for 3 days. It was crazy. And pretty much every time they came to Cleveland, that's what we were doing. We were doing ecstasy, we were doing acid, we were doing meth, and we were drinking champagne. And I think the last time they came to town, Kay was involved as well. Ketamine had come onto the scene. So those were the drugs of choice, and we were into drugs very hard and very much so. Um, Nobody was doing heroin at my house, but I know that when they were back in New York, they were doing heroin, okay? So let me see what this says. Let's see what this one says. I got a nice letter. Okay, this is January 22nd, 2005. I got a nice letter from Ernie the other day as well. He says he wants to drive up to see me with our friend Lollipop. You probably don't know her. She wasn't in any of the Ohio trips, but I mentioned your letters to Ernie. My paintings are all in acrylic. I can't paint using oils because the paint takes so long to dry. Plus, oil paint is impossible to clean up after. The brushes need to soak in turpentine, etc., etc. With acrylic, you can just wipe everything up with a wash rag and water, and you're good to go. I'm enclosing 3 snapshots of some of my paintings. They're not the best pictures, but you can at least get an idea of what they look like. So, those were these that I was showing you guys. That must have been from this letter, which is exciting because I should put these back in there. They're not in the best pictures, but you can at least get the idea of what they look like. I'm really, really excited about the photo book World of Wonder, which is the photo book that World of Wonder is publishing. Okay, World of Wonder is a guy we know, Fenton Bailey. He was also a club kid, but he's also a professional. And he took care of a lot of finance things. I think he was in charge of helping make some documentaries. So World of Wonder is something important. So that's being published. In fact, I have to call James this week to talk about having the paintings digitalized. Okay, here's something interesting. You asked if I got any money from the movie Partymonster. Ha 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 ha. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. No, I didn't. Dot dot dot. In fact, James won't even tell me how much money he got from the book and movie. Won't even tell me how many copies the book sold either. He's embarrassed because it didn't sell very well, and he thinks I'll make fun of him, or else he made so much money that he's afraid I'll ask for some of it because he knows he lied about most of it. Ta-da! There's some fucking tea for you right there. I'm being careful with what I'm not, he wouldn't want me to read all this, you guys. Okay. I did have a job about a year ago. I was an inmate porter. Porters are the ones who serve the food and sweep the halls and stuff. But it was so much work, Jennifer. And they paid us only 15 cents an hour. 15 cents an hour. I was working so hard, coming back to my cell every night exhausted and dirty for something like $3 a week. It's just not worth it. I could be spending that time better painting or writing in my book or answering letters, so I quit. It's so freezing inside this building right now. 5 below zero. Thank God the heating system in this building is now working. Even though it's so cold outside, we're all in our underwear because it's incredibly hot in the building. That's a nice thought, right? A bunch of tattooed muscle convicts sitting around in their underwear. And then he puts a smiley face. He says, my editor is coming to see me tomorrow morning to talk about the book and the most recent pages I sent her. I feel so lucky to have her on board. She's smart and funny and with it. I wish I could have had her help from the beginning. I'd be finished with that book already. There was some real drama here last week. Some inmate trapped one of the female counselors in her office and raped her and then stabbed her in the eye with a pen. An officer walked in and caught them stabbing her and then chased him through the facility in his underwear. And then he puts in parentheses again with the underwear and a smiley face. They locked the facility down for a day, and then the counselor is now in the hospital. The inmate is in solitary confinement. He was in for something like 100 years for assault and murder and rape and sodomy. He sounds like a nice guy, right? Jennifer, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. XOXO Michael. So that was a good one. Let's see. What else reaches out to me? I want to read you something. Here's something. I'm going to read you something. Oh, here's another picture. I told you one was hiding. So here's another one of the pictures he's been talking about. So what's this one called? Disco K Medley. So there's the ketamine. There's Clara the chicken. If you don't know who Clara the chicken is, there was always someone dressed up in an outfit, and that person was Ernie. Ernie was Clara the chicken, you guys. And this says Disco 2000 under there. And again, the best part of it, look, you can see his shadow. I mean, who cares about the painting? Look at Michael. You can see his shadow. So what I'm going to do eventually is take these pictures out of this pile and put them in a nice little situation on my wall. So here's something with an X in it. We just heard about his book, right? Here's something with an X in it. You want to read another segment from his book? Let's. Okay, this one's easier to read, so let me go. I'm just going to go. On a whim, and was so impressed by their fresh look, mirror images. Oh, first of all, it's page 244 of his book. And you can see the big X through it. Okay. So impressed by their fresh look. Excuse me, you guys. Mirror images in matching blue and green striped bell bottoms. Platform shoes, lime green hair, and lunch boxes. Lunch boxes. We know what's in those lunch boxes. That I encouraged them to move to New York. I'll give you both jobs at the tunnel, I urged eagerly. You look like you need to move here. I imagined it was a tough decision for Robert and Tim to accept the job after that, with what the world being at the tunnel's rival and all. So the tunnel was another club, you guys. There was the Limelight, the tunnel. There was a couple other ones, but it was a club that he's talking about. Robert did call and ask if I'd object to them working at the World. Okay, so that's another club. And I told him I wouldn't, and I wished them luck. I was always respectful, Robert, for making that phone call. It showed he had integrity, or maybe he just didn't want to burn any bridges in case the new job fell through. Now, mind you, this is for his book. This isn't to me. In any event, it was a bad statement. Michael was using club kids as doormen, doing away with the conventional idea of doorkeepers as older, snobby, intimidating. That was the kind of thing that was for clubs like Area and Palladium, and even the Tunnel. But the World was going to be fabulous in another friendlier way. There was nothing in the least daunting or imposing about the twins. On opening night, the two of them looked like colorful club kid dolls in matching Sprouse and Gautier. Okay, you guys know who the twins are. The twins were two twins that were club kids. Oh, Michael loved them. So let me read that again. There was nothing in the least daunting or imposing about the twins. On opening night, the two of them looked like colorful club kid dolls in matching Sprouse and Gautier. guarding the ropes in front of this crumbling, dilapidated building, greeting other club kids with big smiles and double air kisses. Robert and Tim wanted to be your friends, underlined. Inside, Michael's club was so packed we couldn't really see anything. Julie Jules, myself, and Kiyoki formed a line holding hands and squeezed through the crowd past the naked man standing on a box, up the rickety windows, winding stairs to the club's tiny jammed dance floor, then finally to the third level, a warren of creepy, cramped rooms. That's it. Oh no, here's page 245. We got more. We got more of that same story. Let's continue. This was good. To the club's tiny jammed dance floor, then finally to the third level, a warren of creepy cramped rooms painted with shiny gold and furnished with distressed antique sofas and candelabras. Wow. The walls were covered in cracked mirrors and empty gilded pictures, frames, tables cluttered with kitschy knickknacks, ceramic statues of Jesus and the Virgin Mary, gold cherubs, a vase filled with daisies. A vase filled with daisies. And you guys think I'm not getting signs? And a vase filled with daisies. It was just really too fabulous. Exactly the kind of club I would have opened, and a wave of jealous nausea swept over me as we glided through the elegantly decaying rooms, smiling and making little waves at people. The fabulous people only. Michael Musto, Billy Beyond, Sister Dimension, the people I wanted at my club, underlined. Michael, and when he says Michael, it's spelled Mykul. So he's talking about someone else. I'm not sure who this is. Michael even had a club kids tending bar, standing in what appeared to be a closet with a heavy wooden table pushed up in the front. Was the Mod Squad's Robbie Martin in full dramatic drag, face powdered white. Wait, what? Standing in what appeared to be a closet with a heavy wooden table pushed in front was the Mod Squad's Robbie Martin in full dramatic drag, face painted powdered white, lips and nails flaming red, servicing chilled champagne in white china teacups. Robbie, too, seemed humble, smiling sheepishly as she saw the three of us walk into the room like she was embarrassed to be caught, in parentheses, working for the competition and hoping I wouldn't be too upset with her. I wasn't, of course. I understood Robin needed the work and was happy Michael could give it to her. I only wish I would have done the same. See, this is the kind of stuff I don't want to read for you, but I'm just going to give you an idea. Kind of ironic, not to mention the fact that that's kind of how I feel when I jerk off. Yeah, there's a long paragraph about him describing when he jerks off. So I'm not going to read that to you because I don't even want to read it. I'll read you a little bit of this about his medical stuff, but not too in depth. Anyway, finally, they gave me an x-ray and an MRI, which showed it wasn't in my mind after all, but rather in my spine. There is a cluster of nerves being pinched by a bulging dick. This is a problem to have in a facility like this where they will not help me. They say it can probably be fixed with surgery as soon as the nerves get decompressed. I should regain feeling. Blah, blah, blah. I can't read you that part. That part's personal. Again with John and Scotty. So unless they have been a very good excuse on tomorrow, which I hope I will see them, I may ask my mom to cancel, or I might have you call my mom and see what's going on. I know I'm probably sounding a little unreasonable and maybe selfish, but I was so depressed that they didn't show up, Jennifer. I watched the other guys getting called down to see visitors. My stomach was growling and I was waiting. I'm so lonely. This place is so awful. These kinds of conditions make even the sweetest person in the world seem selfish. Oh, that one. Holy fucking shit. So sometimes you got a typewriter, right? Okay, so this one was right after my wedding. It says, "Hello there, dearest Mrs. Letter. You looked gorgeous in your pink wedding gown. It looked great with your red hair and your flowers. And God, your hubby is so sexy. I love the shot of him DJing. Too bad I can never see his face in person. You are one lucky broad. You better realize how great you have it. Of course, Skippy is also very lucky having caught himself a very sexy, smart, and funny woman like you. Your Princess Prada is so fucking adorable." That's a dog that we had, Princess Prada. "You just want to scoop her up in your arms and cuddle her. You have the best taste in pets, Jennifer. I'm having a bit of a better time in here as they have finally given me my MRI and diagnosed my medical condition. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to read that to you. Oh, here we go. I finished this draft of my book and sent the pages to Esther, my editor. I'm waiting for her to come visit now so we can discuss what the next step will be. There will be more rewriting for sure, but nothing too complicated, mostly simple cosmetic stuff. The really hard part, getting the story down, is finished now. Thank God, Jennifer. You can't imagine how tired and bored I am of telling and retelling the same old story over and over and over for 12 years. Once this book, Aligula, is published, I'm going to make it a rule amongst my friends that no one will ever be allowed to bring it up again when I'm around. It is so fucking annoying. In the meantime, I've been painting and painting and painting and painting. I have 123 pieces completed already. Not all are good enough to show. I'd say out of that 123, I could show 80. The thing is, the earlier pieces aren't that good. Every new painting I make is showable. I no longer send out the ones that are no good. I paint over them. Once they're done, I send them to World of Wonder, where they are digitalized and cataloged. They send me printouts and store them on a disc. They're going to pick up the 30 best ones once I'm released, publish them in a book, and I can't wait. That never happened, Fenton Bailey from World of Wonder. Where's the book? You and Skippy need to come visit me one day, Jennifer. I can't believe you haven't come yet. Wouldn't that be fun to spend the whole day talking and laughing and eating junk food from the vending machine? You'd get to see the inside of a prison, and you could show off your hunky new husband. What do you say? I would love that. Christopher Comp was just here, so was Ernie Glam and Pebbles and Lollipop. Jenny is coming in a few weeks with Cody Field. It's always a scandal when Cody comes. She's a drag queen, you know, and she has the whole visiting room in an uproar when she walks in, and I love it. Well, honey, I just wanted to say hi and congratulations on your marriage. I love you both. You are both very happy with each other, and I can see that you are happy and going to have fulfilling lives. Write me soon. Please think about coming to see me, okay? And then there's the X's and the Michael. Michael. Well, we still have a while to go, but I've been talking a lot, don't you think? 10 in chat. Oh! Oh my God. Okay. Back. Echo? Why? Okay. I'm gonna turn down that volume. Oh, what's a lot happened here. Let me fix. Holy shit. Okay. I've become very small and on the left. Ugh. Wayne, your girlfriend's little brother was a club kid. You got your first X from them? Yeah, that's what we called it, X. Why am I echoing? That's not good. Any idea? Anyone? How about now? Fuck. Well, that's how we're going to do the stream. I need to have a drinky poo. Is there a mod there that can tell me, are you hearing this echo or does it sound normal to you? And by the way, Merry Christmas. It sounds fine. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. Let me just take a little breaky poo. I need a bong hit. I need to get some ginger ale in me. Merry Christmas. And I hope you're enjoying the stream. I know some of you are probably like, what the fuck is this? But there are people that will be watching this in the next week or so that are going to be like, holy shit. So I do want to get that story up. I'm going to need a minute. I'm going to need to do a bong hit. Meanwhile, I'm echoing and advertising Danny for some reason. I don't know why that popped up. Danny Phantom Live. Everybody go subscribe to Danny Phantom Live. Let me change that. I love Danny, but yes, I didn't mean to put that up. Let me see what else banner. I should put something else up. That's what's supposed to be up. But we do love Danny. If you're watching, everybody go subscribe to Danny Phantom Live. What else did you say, Rand? Did you say I'm echoing? I am echoing. You have a feeling that Michael and Danny wouldn't have gotten along at all? I disagree. I think they would have gotten along great. I think Michael would have loved Danny. I think Danny would have loved Michael. Banjo, I really appreciate the stream. I love the club kids. Well, you're welcome. And I'm sorry that I'm echoing. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix that. And I don't want to stop the stream because I do want to take questions because I know you guys have some. But let me hit this bong hit. And in the background, why don't we put some Kyoki on? You want to listen to DJ Kyoki? Or maybe we just put Michael on. How's that?
That's a subscription. Take all that one and put it on a hello rather than
Why? And that was a hard one. You know, because you were dead there for a second.
What am I hearing? I was trying to check the technical audio issues. What the actual fuck? Let me go back a little bit. Okay. No. Okay. I came, I left and I came back in. I think that's funny, Daisy, that you think that Danny and Michael wouldn't have gotten along. I think you're wrong on that one. And I know it seems to the eye, yes. But no, they would have totally gotten along. Okay, I'm gonna pack this. DJ Kyoki.
Isn't that the movie?
DJ Kiyoki. You can find him on YouTube. This is him. So let's just chill for a minute and have a bong hit, and then I'll read you a couple more things. If you guys have any questions for me, now's the time to ask. And don't forget what I'm wearing. Claire says you ain't eating. I don't know what that means, Claire. Hi, Fred Post. You have a lot to catch up on. It's been an amazing stream. If you're into Club Kids, or if you're wanting to know what I'm talking about, or if you've seen the movie Party Monster, that's what we've been talking about. Michael Alig. He died 5 years ago today. So let's do a bong hit for Michael. How you like your stream, Michael? You big ham. You been enjoying it? But he has. DJ Kiyoki. Merry Christmas! Look at my squid. Actually, I wore the sequins just for Michael. I dressed for Michael today. Marcel! Wait up for the cannon. Nine inches. I want to show you my shoes. And look at this. I have a pink joint. Pink. Rose petal. Great time. Go back to the shoe. I wanted to show you the next emoji. Same size.
Hi, you here to try out? Cool. What's your name?
DJ Kyoki, 1994. Girl, I'll house you.
Getting that from me.
This is what Michael and I would dance to this song.
You're allowed house beat. 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 You're my butt down. Radio in my heart. You know what's up. Let your mind be free. Let your body go. A little higher, go until you get higher. How's your body? How's your body? How's your body to your face? How's it all over the place? Don't let nobody get your way. So make so imaginate your day. At first, I will say you wrong. I'll do it all night long. 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 No better.
Go on, girl, act a fool. I wore these shoes for Michael.
Break it all down. Here we go. Round and round and round and round and round. Feel the house music steady pounding. Feel the energy rush up to your face. Feel the vibe, feel the vibe, feel the bass. Come on.
RuPaul, Sashay.
Getting that
We got a little Ru. And believe me, I tagged Ru for this thing. I said Ru on the TikTok and link. I tried to get
Pioneered
something.
by
I can't get hold
Alexander
of it.
Hamilton, dared to design systems others couldn't
Those
yet
people are
imagine.
famous. They ain't got time for me.
Careful, Alex.
Once upon a time,
But his memories are
there
there.
was a little black girl.
Bedroom heels,
in
exactly.
the Brewster Project.
Could be, Rebel Heart. Could be.
At 15,
Okay.
she was.
We're going to get back to these letters in a second. I'm going to read you a couple more. And then I'm going to take a question or two if you have any, and I'm going to end the stream. To Rue. The first time I met Rue, we were inseparable. That's why they took pictures of us. That's why we were on the fucking flyer. We didn't just hang out for a minute. There's more pictures on the back. Rue is a good person. Rue is a cool fucking dude. And believe me, when he's not like this, he's a dude. He's like a dude. I like him very much. When I first met Rue, all he did was say fierce. Everything was fierce. Jennifer, you're fierce. He would also cart me around the club like a little doll. So I was very privileged that they liked me the way they did. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas up there, Michael. We're thinking of you. And you too, Angel. Angel Melendez. Remember Angel today too as well. Okay, get serious. I'm going to eat a candy cane to wet my whistle while I am talking. I'm going to do a couple more of these readings, and then I'm going to end the stream. I think I've done well. I think I've let you know a little bit who Michael is. I feel like I should tell you more from his mom. Elke. Elke is very German. Elke is a little crazy. Elke liked to hang out in New York with Michael at the strangest events. And then she wondered why Michael was acting erratic sometimes. So, you know, it was a little double-edged sword with Elke. Elke reminded me of my mother a little bit. Like, sadly, my mother was narcissistic and wanted to hang out with me and my friends sometimes, right? That's weird. You don't hang out with your friends and your kids. You just don't. But Elke made that mistake at one point. I know that at the end she realized that and she regretted it. She loved Michael so much, and she was a good mom. Like, she never did anything but love him. I think that he had molestation stories, but they weren't from anyone in his family. You know what I'm saying? It was like outside people, whatever. It wasn't like his I don't think he knew his father, by the way. And he had a brother that he loved very much. So his mother was a friend of mine. I am friends with Daisy's mom. Okay. It reminds me a lot of the same weird shit. And it's weird that my life does repeat itself like that. Look, I'm an eccentric girl. I've never been friends with Karen down the street or the normal girl playing volleyball at high school. I do attract strange people, eccentric people, artists, broken people, weirdos. I always have. And that's who I like. So, that being said, let's find another letter. Oh, Marshall is saying some witchy poo stuff. Good for you, Marshall. Marshall says, I did my 13 wishes for winter solstice, although it's summer here. She's in South Africa, you guys, my friend Marshall. Says, I can't avoid the seasons. Did my moon water last night. Blessings from one green witch to another. Blessed be, girl, blessed be. I love you for that, Marshall. I'm glad you did the work because you know what I did last night? I got my hands tattooed and I was in so much pain. Okay. I was at the tattoo studio till 9:30 at night, pretty much. Me and the tattoo guy were the only ones there. He let me live stream the whole thing. So it is in my streams if you guys want to go see that. I'm in so much, it was the most painful tattoo I've ever gotten in my life. Hands down. No pun intended. But look how gorgeous it came out. Look at that. Just what I wanted. And the exquisite detailed design is just beautiful. And I took it up as high as I could so that it's black up there, but with designs. Now you will see around the nail, there's still some black. Like the nail actually looks dirty. That's ink in there. I can't wash my hands for the next 3 days. That has to wear off. But you can see what's tattoo and what's not. What a gorgeous job they did. It's this guy named Dustin from Chronic Tattoo in Lakewood. So I'm giving them as many shout outs as possible. He's been tattooing for 25 years, and you can tell. But the pain was excruciating. Excruciating. It still is. These don't even look like thumbs. They look like sausages. These are my sausages. And so these are both memorial tattoos. This is a memorial tattoo to my grandma, and this is that memorial tattoo to my dad. Look how beautiful that came out. And look, he even put the initials. So my dad's initials are right here. It says WWB. And then I said, just fucking deck this shit up and make them both match. Look at that. I'm like Michelle LeMay. If you don't know, you don't know. Michelle LeMay is a black witch in Hollywood, but she's blacked out her tips. I'm a green witch, so I'm not into any of that bad negative shit. So, but I did want my tips done in a darker form, but with Victorian filigree and flowers. Isn't that so lovely? I know. I'm very excited, especially after I went through with my other lady. Holy shit. You ready to get back down to business? Coxsackie Correctional Facility. Michael Alig, 97A6595. Okay, so let's see what this one has to say. Back to it, y'all. And I'm not going to put any background music on because it's just time. It's just time. It's a typed one. It's a long one. Oh, this is a early one. So January 6th, 2009. Hey there, thanks for the letter and photos. You look so good. I hear this echo, and if I don't fucking... Where are you coming from, you sound? I have sound off. Fuck you. Excuse me, not you. Live stream. Then once I start hitting things, then I lose stream. But it's when I lost stream that I got this echo. Fucking shit. We're going through it. If it's awful, if it sounds awful and echoey as I'm reading, I want you to tell me, and then we're going to stop. Thanks for the letter and the photos. You look so good. Even Goldilocks looks good, so thin and young and sacred. Now I remember why we wanted him to move to New York so badly. If we could only have stayed frozen in time that way. I never realized how good we all had it, and how I would have never in a million years dreamed I would be where I am today. Jennifer, I never could have imagined it. Okay, I can't read most of this. So we're going to move on to another one. How about this one? Elmira Correctional Facility. Another typed one. It's long and it has an X on the back of both. So this is exciting. So not only do we have a letter to me, we have 2 pages of the book Caligula. So let's dive into this. July 21st, 2006. The images of Aquilon are sticking in my mind, and the images on the postcard bring back memories of taking acid, rohypnol with Sushi, Desi, Ernie, Walt, you, Ernie. Sacred, David, Troy. There's a funny story in my book about the USA trip to Cleveland. Oh. When we took acid right before judging the contest, and for some reason we were feeling sorry for a couple of the contestants who had tried so hard but looked really, really terrible. We were exaggerating everything out of proportion being on acid. And we were thinking for some weird reason that the losers would kill themselves if we didn't give them the tickets. So we ended up giving 5 tickets away instead of the 2 Peter had approved. He was furious because this was your club and this was Cleveland. The story in my book is much funnier and more detailed, of course, but you get the idea. Ha ha. I wrote Tia a letter and it was returned to me and stamped RTS. So I guess she must have moved or something. It's terrible news about her baby. Blah, blah, blah. You guys don't need to know about that either. Uh-oh. This is pretty good. On the other hand, the photos you are sending me of yourself are fabulous. Thank you for the pictures. And by the way, they are a real hit on 8 Company Cell Block, which is where I am. My neighbors are all fantasizing about you while they, do their thing, Jennifer, at night. Joe next door has offered to buy your pictures from me, but I don't think that's in good taste. Or do you think I should do it? One of my neighbors just asked me to show him your picture real quick, so I did. You're a pinup girl in a male prison. That's kind of cool. No, Jennifer? This is 2006, by the way. By the way, I don't know. Let me see. My therapist told me I will most likely not go home next month, that they will hit me with 2 more years, maybe to a medium security facility. I'll see the next board in 2008, then maybe I'll go home. Otherwise, they'll hit me with 1 more year. Blah, blah, blah. I have parole officers. They single Larry out because it was so. I don't know, a lot of this doesn't make sense. Help me out. It's like I need an important person like Larry to help me out financially or with a place to live and vouch personally for my behavior when I'm released. It was really good, the complete opposite of his first. Michael will be hired to work in the most fabulous nightclub letter. Someone must have coached him to write that, and it was obvious. I'm so scared to go before the board, Jennifer. I almost don't even want to go. They're going to be brutal. I'm sure they're going to ask me why I killed someone. And what do you say to that? Even worse, they're not actually in the same room. Everything is done over video. So I'll be talking to a TV screen like in the Jetsons. It makes the whole thing so impersonal. I don't like that at all. It's intimidating. I guess it's nice for them, though. They don't have to drive around or come into contact with the people who might want to hurt them. But still, you'd think they'd want to get close up and personal and really get to try to know and understand me. But maybe not. Let me get Baxter so Baxter, are you? Oh my goodness! Let me help you, Baxter. Come here, honey. You come up here. Oh, good. All right, easy does it. Easy does it. Easy does it. All right. Okay. Okay. Relax. Okay. Okay. Relax. You're fine. That's a good boy. Okay. Emergency Baxter mode. He's all right. He was having a little coughing fit. Helps him out. You okay, bud? This was really good what we were reading. I'm just gonna start where I ended off. You're right about this heat, and so lucky to have air conditioning. There is none here. We just have to put up with it. Sometimes it gets so bad everyone just has to lie in their beds in their underwear and not move an inch. I can't wait for the fall to come, Jennifer. Not only will it be cool again, but my parole date will be over. The suspense, even though I know they are going to refuse me, is unbearable. I'm a basket case, unable to sleep, up all night, obsessing. I weigh 190 pounds. I've never weighed that much in my life. I've gained almost 50 pounds since I left Southport. Granted, I was very thin at Southport because I couldn't eat the food. God bless you, Baxter. Oh, God bless you. Gesundheit. You okay? You're going through it, bud. You all right? Because I couldn't eat the food. But now all I do is sit on my bed worrying and eating junk food, ice cream, potato chips, watching Law and Order. I'm going to need liposuction on top of a facelift when I go home. Larry had lipo done on his belly. He looks great for his age. He said he would pay for mine when I get out. I have to check Baxter. He's absolutely exploding from all angles. What is going on, buddy? Are you all right? Sit down. It's okay. Relax. Try to breathe. Okay. Now he's sneezing again. Poor Baxter's really going through it. I might have to interfere if he doesn't get better in a minute, you guys. Priorities, priorities, priorities. You okay, baby? What's going on? Relax, 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 relax. I know, Muggsy. Are you worried about your brother? It's okay. Relax. Take it down 25 notches, and I think you're going to feel better. Lie down. Relax. Anyway, it's 10:30 and I need to go to bed soon because I'm starting a new program in the morning. My drug program ended today, and tomorrow I begin something called phase 2, which is supposed to teach me what to do when I go home if I get paroled. Well, that didn't work well, did it? It's kind of exciting just knowing that I'm going into this program, even though I know they won't release me. Thank you again for the letters, and tell your mom I said hello. I'll call you soon. Bye for now. So we have 2 pages of a Aligula book on the back. Let's go. Let's go. Which one is first? Okay. Well, this one is typewritten and it says page 397. And this one is mostly writing with a little typing in there and a lot of crossing out. So let's start with 397 because that's way easier. Okay. Let me turn this down so you can look. Okay. So 397 of the book Aligula, which was his memoirs of people giving power to a group not normally associated with power. Gays, minorities, freaks, the stars of the voguing scene. People like David Extravaganza, Willie Ninja, and Adrian Magnifique. Magnifique. Let me say that again. Adrian Magnifique. There we go. Were comped at Red Zone, treated like royalty. Soon a cross-pollination occurred. Voguers began wearing platform shoes, silly wigs, and hats. Club kids started plucking their eyebrows, shaving their legs. It was weird because most boy club kids didn't want to look like girls. We weren't drag queens. That's why we put this clown, quote, clown spin on it. Dean is the one who really preferred this look, taking inspiration as well from our idol Lee Bowery and showing me what kinds of makeup to buy at Pat Fields. Dean introduced me to the aquacolor palettes that came in fluorescent oranges. That was why I chose this eyeshadow today. Fluorescent oranges, yellows, greens, a red Shishido ultra matte kabuki style lipstick packaged in a box and applied using a brush and something very important, pressed powder, which gives a beautiful finishing touch to your look. I bought 2 small curly wiglets, one in black, one in blonde, to be worn on top of my shaven head, using a visible chin strap, adding to the humor and irony of it. The first time I met Michael, he was wearing that. He was wearing a little weird wig, curly blonde thing on the top of his head, a jumper that had no butt. Do you remember when Prince did that weird thing and he cut the back of his pants out and his butt stuck out? Yeah, that's Michael had something like that on the first time I met him. It's absolutely horrifying. I bought 2 small curly wiglets, blah, 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 blah. I love this idea of coming at people from all angles. Club kids were now voguers. We were acid house aficionados, designers, DJs, magazine publishers, forever new and improved. And we weren't just playing, acting, or posing. We lived what we were doing, embodied it. In my mind, we'd be able to continue on in this way indefinitely, evolving over time, becoming the epitome of the next big thing, co-opting the novelty and freshness of new trend like cultural chameleons. At this point, the Red Zone was 7 months old and it was becoming increasingly difficult to lure fabulous people all the way in up to the 54th Street. And that's it for this. I don't know if this is wait. I don't know if this is the same thing, but let's go. Kyoki and I were having troubles. Ignore the swollen. And then there's arrows. Kyoki and I were starting to have more trouble. It was difficult and frustrating time for me and my boyfriend Kyoki. Trying to concentrate. No, I'm sorry. Trying to create a name for myself as a DJ. Campers for the right to party. More than ever, directing 2 clubs and editing a magazine, I was seen as the star of the family, whereas Kyoki was fighting constantly the stigma of being known mainly as Michael Alig's boyfriend. It didn't help the situation. Okay, now this is hard to read because this is his handwriting. Was the one who made all the decisions in the family. how to decorate the apartment, what food to buy. I paid the bills using my checkbook. Black didn't know or have an account. I even filed tax returns, me and him. I was being a control freak, compensating and my insecurity by smothering Kyoki with love, making him never want to leave me. Kyoki, for him, it was not easy, and he was a little lazy, and he was insecure. But he was growing sense of resentment towards me for making him feel dependent and helpless. And so there you go. There you fucking go. I better tag DJ Kyoki in this because I don't know that he knows about this. Kyoki, did you know this shit? Because I'm gonna tag you in it. I'll send you the link, Kyoki. Holy cannoli. We learning new things in 2025 today. DJ Kyoki. I love him. I love him. Can we do a bong hit? You're welcome, Banjo. It is a blessing. It is a blessing. And today we have Michael here. He loves it. All of you watching now live, all of you that watch this later, stop it. Turn this off. Go to the search bar. Type in the word the PU, PEE-EW. Go to that channel. Subscribe to it. That is Michael, Alig, and Ernie's channel. Do you know that Ernie has been posting on there recently? Go. Subscribe. That's how I'm trying to connect with Ernie. I've been leaving him comments. There's no way to get a hold of him. I would have loved to have had him here today. I was able to tag him in an Instagram, so maybe he will see this and be like, no way, it's Princess Jen. And then he would contact me immediately because we do love each other. So I'm glad to share this with you. I know some of you, you're like, what the fuck is this? What is up? Some of you have seen the movie Partymonster with Macaulay Culkin. And you're like, oh, she knows that guy? That's kind of cool. But some of you, and those of you that you know who I'm talking to, you know about that underground scene. You know it's so beautiful and so precious. It was such a precious time, even during the ugliest times of it, which I'm here to talk about. There have been documentaries made. There are interviews with Michael talking about the murder. He doesn't really talk about it. He talked about it with me. I'm sharing that with you. I have things I can share with you. They're his views, his thoughts. I want to remember him today, not like I'm so cool. I knew Michael Alig. It's not like that. I want to remember Michael today. I want you to hear his words, his thoughts. And the parts I don't want to read you, let me just talk about that for a second. He was having some serious medical issues in prison. I don't want to get too in depth about it because it is personal, and it's personal because it has to do with personal parts of your body. Okay. But he had gotten some nerve damage in prison from a CO mishandling him. Something slipped, a disc slipped. A lot of things went wrong in his body after that because of who he was, because he was a murderer, because he was in prison. They didn't take him seriously and they didn't get him medical help. He was in pain. He couldn't urinate properly. He couldn't feel parts of his legs and his body for years. These were some of these things I'm not going to read you, but I'm going to give you a generalization of what he was going through in Elmira Correctional Facility with a Menendez brother next to him, where the walls were stone and there was no heat and no air conditioning. I mean, dude was miserable, and he would, on phone calls, cry to me about that medical situation and how nobody would help him. So when you do hear me talk about these little bits about the MRI and stuff, that's when they actually started taking him seriously and started helping him a little bit. And when that part I read that he's got in trouble because he stole or used his neighbor's pain pill, he didn't even care what it was. He wasn't doing it to get high. Well, he probably was because he's Michael Alig. but he really was in pain there too, and nobody was helping him because they would just call him a murderer. So, he doesn't remember a lot of the murder, as I've told you guys. Um, he remembers moments of freeze, doing things during the murder, but he doesn't remember himself actually killing Angel. He also knew that Angel and I had a relationship and that I loved Angel, okay? And when I say relationship, like every time they came, the first 2 times Angel stayed at my house, I was doing Angel's drugs. You know, Angel's wings sat in my bedroom on my bed while we sat on the couch and partied, and he was one of the few people that I was just really down with. So when Angel was killed, it wasn't like one of us was killed. One of my very dear friends was killed by one of my very dear friends, and it was crazy. Do you guys know the story about Michael going to the club with the words guilty written all over his face in Sharpie? So he did that once in Cleveland too. I asked him about it. He said he didn't remember doing it. But soon after the murder, Michael showed up at Limelight. Or it might have been the Tunnel, but I think it was Limelight in New York City. And you know, Michael wore the craziest makeup, had the craziest shit going on. On his face, he wore his hair back in little words everywhere, even down his nose, even over here, like, you know, like scribbles. Over here, it just said guilty. The word guilty, 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 guilty. And that was Michael showing that to everybody. Everybody said, "Where's Angel?" No one knew. Michael said, "I don't know." But Angel always wore this one pair of boots. Never took them off. Guess who was wearing them? Michael. To the club with guilty written on his face. Then he had parties in his apartment. And people said, I gotta pee. And he said, no, 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 you can't go to the bathroom. That's why that mattress is there. We're having plumbing problems. And then, like, the third party, I did hear that people were like, what is that fucking smell? And he was like, we're having plumbing problems. Here, use some more cocaine. He doesn't remember any of that. He does remember the conversation that he had to cut up the body. And I've already told the story today, but it's coming to my mind again, so I guess I should say it again. And yes, he said, I will cut up the body, but you have to get me this much heroin for me to do that. And he put his order in for the heroin, and it was 10 times the amount that would have killed him because he wanted to die, because he had known he just couldn't. And he did all that heroin, and he didn't die. And that was one of the biggest conversations him and I had in jail, because he was just like, Jennifer, I was aware at that moment that I had to dismember this person. But not only had he had raves about dismemberment, parties about dismemberment, made flyers about dismemberment. Him and his mother, Elke, used to watch horror movies about dismemberment. Okay, so something else is going on there. I don't pretend to know what it is, and I don't want to. But I'm sharing that with you. Okay? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I'm telling you what my friend Michael told me and what I know. I know he felt horrible about it. He said he couldn't sleep. He had nightmares. I think that where is it? Where is the angel thing? The thing he made me with the angel says enough. I'm just like, here's a pretty crazy looking one that's all X'd out. Let's try to read this. It looks hard to read, but let's go for it. It looks like a good one. So here's to me on this side. And here's his Aligula book with the X and lots of edits. I should say here that RV at the time, something about ecstasy, New Year. And his club was a huge hit with the underground dance scene. An alternative and already underground sound. Factory Richard's time came too, and they had a secret VIP club where we had ecstasy parties, which took place once every 2 or 3 months in Richard's townhouse. Wow. Okay. The choice was just a hole in the wall with a drafty old wardrobe owned by a popular local DJ named R. Velasquez. Yeah, I know who that is. I think that's the guy who made Glory Days. I told you you can watch Party Monster. It's dumb and it's fake. You want to watch the shockumentary about Michael Alig, and there's also another one called Glory Days with a Z. Our friend Rudy Velasquez made that. You want to check that out? That's free on Tubi. Um, one of my 3 weekends, I would spin records at his friend's house, and followers would be there in the corner doing heroin or shooting something up like that. I'm not sure. Um, the choice was really a hole in the wall, an old warehouse, and then it seems like he's repeating what he just said. So that's interesting. Oh, let's read what he wrote to me on this end. So this is me. Larry, on the other hand, has been helping me with some financial issues for the past 8 years. He sends me money every month, but only just enough for my postage. I spend $37 every 2 weeks on stamps, or $74 a month. He sends me 100. 74 probably doesn't sound like a lot of money to you, but to me, it's a fortune, practically my entire allowance. But I need to do it because keeping in contact with friends like Larry is my way of staying sane and feeling connected to something other than these convicts I'm surrounded by 24 hours a day. And then he puts a smiley face. I love him so much. Michael! Anyways, this is getting to be a very long letter, and my pen situation is dire at the moment. Something only per week. When it runs out, I have to trade food for a new one. I just wanted to explain everything. Please don't forget to send me your new phone number and tell your mom I'm thinking about her. She sounded so sweet when I talked to her on the phone, like one of those good moms, the kind who gets it. You know what I mean. Anyways, my hand is killing me. I've been writing a long time, so please write me back. I miss you. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. XOXO Michael. Okay, what is this? I keep saying this. Okay, this was train and flight departures when I actually was gonna go visit him. He kept begging me to go visit him so much, and I didn't want to. I looked into it at one point, and I was gonna take an Amtrak to Elmira to visit him. I think this was like in 2006, and I just ended up deciding on my own. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want to take a train to a jail. So there's that. I kept that though. Here's one. It's unopened. Southport Correctional Facility. 978-6595 to Jennifer Becker. Michael Alig. Okay, let's read this one. It's a thick one. This one's a lot going on here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, all handwritten. What is going on here? Let's just pick apart some of this and see what's going on. Oh, this is funny. Listen to what he says here. April 20th. It was 4/20/2005. Dear Jennifer, thanks for your sweet smelling letter, but it is making the whole company smell like cotton candy. Smiley face. The men are going crazy. They haven't smelled a woman in a long time. I put cotton candy perfume on one of the letters I sent him because I figured that for that exact reason. I've been waiting in your letter anxiously because when John came to see me last week, he was like, your mom wants me to tell you that Larry told Jennifer he isn't helping you anymore and won't even visit you again. I was shocked. And for a minute, I thought, well, Oh my God, what is my mother doing again? Is she manipulating Jennifer? Should I ask Jennifer to call my mother? You didn't quite say the same thing. I don't know what to say about Larry. He has a very strange personality and can be very annoying and sarcastic. I wish he wasn't like that. And I wish he didn't need to depend. I wish I didn't need to depend on him so much. His, uh, we're not going to send this to Larry. He has been sending me a check every month like clockwork for 8 years, and I've come to depend on it for survival. Though I haven't heard from him yet in April, I did get a check in March. Do you think he's decided to stop helping me? Do you think he doesn't want to give me money anymore? Do you think that he's the person that you saw when you met him? Did he ask you to come with him here on the 17th? Because I thought maybe that's the reason why he didn't come, because he didn't want to come alone. Well, Larry never asked me any of that, so he was lying to Michael for sure. I think I've talked to Larry like 2 or 3 times in my life. Let's see, let's see. Okay, he's just going on and on about Larry there. Okay, here's something. Oh my God, I can't believe you stepped on a rusty needle, Jennifer. Where on earth did you find a rusty needle, or did you mean a nail? It sounds painful. Either way, did you need a tetanus shot? And do you really wear 8-inch platform heels when you're stripping? If so, take a picture. I do try to exercise. I did 200 push-ups today. Oh my God. And I tried to do that 3 times a week, but my back always hurts, even more afterwards. I finally got a copy of my X-ray, MRI reports to send it, blah, 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 blah. Neurosurgeon. Da, 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 da. I'm feeling so depressed over this, Jennifer. I feel like if I don't get it fixed, going home isn't going to be the fantastic experience I'd hoped. I don't think I will ever be the same again if I don't get this taken care of. I won't even be completely happy ever again. This is such a depressing thought. Even the facility will simply not go over a doctor's advice. It's facility policy. They don't care if I have no feeling. They did tests to see if, but my only option really is a lawsuit. But I'll be leaving the facility in October, hopefully, so what's the point? Before the courts would even consider it, I would be somewhere else, most likely continuing my treatment, which would make the lawsuit a moot point. It's an aggravating catch-22. Please continue to tell me everything Larry says about me. He does upset me. I know my mom will go on about it during the visit, but all I want her to know is that Larry helps me with money. She has no answer when I ask her who will support me in here. She can't do it. Again, I wish I didn't need the help, but Larry's there for me. And then that's just abruptly ends, so I don't know. Poor Larry, the pay pig. Larry was a pay pig! And he was rude. Can we do a bong hit? Hi, Clumsy! How you doing, babe? You used to watch that channel? Merry Christmas, Clumsy! So we're in the middle of this crazy stream, and it's just going on. Look at this. We're just like Michael Alig things everywhere. There was one thing I wanted to mention here. Oh, here's what it is. Nelson Sullivan. He's the guy who did have a video camera this whole time. If you guys want to see the old archived videos of what they made the movie Party Monster about. There was one guy who had an old school video camera and he documented everything. And I knew him, Nelson. He was a great guy. He did die of AIDS. But he got so much on video that you guys will die. And it is one of the best YouTube channels you can ever go check out. So again, stop what you're doing. Go in the type and type it out. It's Nelson Sullivan, 5th, 9th Avenue Project. So 5th, 9th Avenue Project. Nelson Sullivan. That's the name of his YouTube channel. You will see so much old just movies, just documentation, just him laying around RuPaul's apartment in 1989, where all those dudes are chilling. You ain't come to see me. This is all New York stuff. But it's Michael, it's Ernie, it's James St. James, it's RuPaul, it's Richie Rich, who is now famous for being with Heatherette. It's Desi and Walt, which are now very famous movie makeup artists. So, please, before I spoke, I did want to give a shout out to that channel. While we're talking about this, it's very important. If you're interested in this, don't buy Disco Bloodbath. Don't read that book. I mean, Party Monster, you have to see to know what's up, but it's fake. It's fake. It's the Hollywood version of what really happened. You want to see what really happened? You watch the shockumentary. You watch Glory Days with a Z. That's how you know what happened. You go to Nelson Sullivan's page, the 5th, 9th Avenue Project. That's how you know. So that is where I send you people after this. Selfishly, we're going to do a bong hit right now because I need it. And I need to wet my whistle. Take one more break. We jump right back into one more or two more envelopes, and then I'm going to end stream. We're going to keep it sweet and short. I was going to do the stream late tonight. He died an hour before midnight, you guys. Christmas Eve. How sad is that? Alone. I was giving him tough love. I was avoiding him because that's what we thought would help. So I do want to say one thing about that. If you have a friend that's struggling with some sort of addiction or depression this holiday season, and you're not getting in touch with them because you think they got it together or whatever, don't. Give them a call. I've regretted. That's the only thing I do regret. Poor Michael. Can you just imagine him taking some heroin? It wasn't even. Oh, Jesus. Did you see that on live stream? That was the weed. Fuck's sake. All right, it wasn't that bad. But just dying on Christmas Eve, being so depressed in your apartment. Look at this tree. You know, it's such a beautiful thing to just sit in front of this tree at night. It makes me so sad that he thought he had to do heroin. And that's the one thing he told me on the phone time and time and time and time again is that it was heroin. Heroin. It was heroin's fault. Heroin was the reason. Heroin was the reason. That's why he killed Angel. That's why he cut off the body. That's why he threw it in the river. That's why he didn't remember. And maybe he did remember. But numerous times he told me what he did remember and what he didn't. Maybe those things he said he didn't remember, he did. And he couldn't talk about. Who knows? He said he had nightmares, right? He made this, right? This is nuts. Do you even see this correctly? Let me get this correct. I can't flip this camera here. So again, it's got an angel and it says angel. A star. This weird writing on the background. What does that say? It looks like it says I, a backward S, and an A. But I could be wrong. And then it says angels on earth, and then a pink rhinestone, and then this really beautiful filigree, like looks like wallpaper. I don't know. This is nuts. This is so nuts that it's gonna be on a fucking documentary. Uh, and poor Angel. When I stopped being on Facebook and I did run the Club Kids Facebook page, I gave that page away. It's still, I think it's still around on Facebook. It's just called Club Kids. I gave it to a younger generation, a millennial club kid, because I wanted off Facebook and it really wasn't my life anymore, right? But I also started an Angel Melendez memorial page as well. Of course, it didn't do as well. People don't seem to care as much about Angel as they do about Michael, which I always found strange. Why wouldn't you care more about Angel? And when I first started this chat today, we had someone come in here and said, "Why are you supporting that man who murdered and cut that guy up?" Well, because he was my friend, and so was the other guy. And until you're in this situation, you tell me how you'd react. Most of the people walked away from him. Was I praising him? No. You can even hear in the letters, he's like, "Please write me. I told you I had to walk away from him sometimes because of that." You know, sometimes you got to put things in perspective, but I still wanted to be there for him. But I want you guys to know a little bit of the real Michael. He was a good guy. He had problems. I think he had very deep problems. I was a club kid in Cleveland, and there was no time that me and my friends ever wanted to have raves were called parties back then. We never wanted to have a party about dismemberment. Never came up. We were doing beautiful Romanesque, flowery fountain things. So why Michael Alig, before he ever dismembered somebody, used to have parties like that with grotesque flyers about dismemberment with blood, and he did have an obsession with that, and something was going on there, and I don't pretend to know what that was. And I didn't talk to him about that, you guys. We talked about the murder, what he remembered, and I've already shared that with you. On that note, look, little Jewel's in chat. Little Jewel, how's your tattoo? Because mine hurts like a fucking bitch. Look at these sausages. They're so swollen. My fingers are so swollen, especially these two thumbs. My thumbs only move this much, but the tattoo is amazing. Okay, I need a bong hit. It's real. Jennifer. Jennifer. Paper seatbelt. And I'll put the shoes on for you before we end stream. One last time. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let's put them on for the rest of the stream. Michael would want that. It does look nice. The tattoo's amazing. It's swollen, but it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what it was supposed to be a year ago. The memorial tattoos, he did the tips identical, and the memorial tattoos are amazing. This one to my father is amazing. Look, his initials on there. That exact drawing that I showed you guys. Look. Look. I mean, thank you, sir. Yeah, and I did that live stream yesterday. He let me live stream it for an hour and a half so you can watch me get that tattoo on. And Michael would want me to have these on for the rest of the stream. I did bring this song up and I wanted to show it to you because it was one of Michael's favorite songs. This is Lil Louie. It's called French Kiss. I'm just gonna play a couple minutes of it for you. And then we're gonna get back to this, but this was his jam. There was numerous times that he'd be like, "You know the DJ, you're from Cleveland, go up there and tell him to play French Kiss, French Kiss." This was his song. So I just want to play it for you. If this came on, he was dragging me or somebody on the dance floor, and he was begging me to have the DJ that I knew play it. So let's play this. I don't know if you've heard this one. This is an old one. And I'll show you my shoes for a minute, and then we'll get back to the letters, and then I'm going to abandon the stream. And then we can all get on with our Christmas. And I hope you guys are going to have the most Merry Christmas. And I told you about the eyeshadow. So I wore this bright eyeshadow. I don't wear eyeshadow like this. It's green to match my green sequin shirt. Huh? Just for Michael today. So this is Lil Louie, French Kiss. This is Michael's favorite club song to dance to. I mean, we all talk about DJ Kyoki, but he wasn't doing this. So let's just listen to this for a second. Maybe I relight that joint. Are you asking my shoes for stuff? That's way too high. Do my birthday shoes for you? Good 9-inch heels. Okay. There they are. Here, to give you some idea of the size, I'll put them next to the cat. Where's the cat? There's the cat. There's no zoom on StreamYard. I'm on StreamYard or I zoom in. Look at that shit. Heather! Merry Christmas. Heather, I got you a pair of shoes like this for Christmas. I'm sending them to your house. You have to wear them to church. Let's see if I can relate this joy. Princess Jen in the house. I do. We didn't smoke all of it. So let's light it. If you don't know how great this shirt is, the glitter of it, let me turn on the light. It's sequins. Michael loves the sequins, but not only that, it has beads. You would break the neck. Well, I was a stripper for 20 years. I actually believe it. I stripped in these shoes. So I've danced in these shoes. I can run a marathon in these shoes. I was married in 8-inch platforms on the beach. What do you think about that? now. So what do you think of this? Michael Alex and his dog. French kiss. There we go. There we go, bitch. Get your crown straight. Changing my necklace for you all. Yeah. See, here's the bees. They hang low. See that? Creepy. Wait a second. Give me one second. You guys are gonna get to do one thing. The arm. Wait, no. I don't have your idea. Let me do it right. Oh yeah. I got a man quill. Look. Thank you, baby. That's all it is. Look at that. So that was French kiss. And that was Skippy twirling. Exciting, right? I know, it was. Let's get back to business, though. One more letter to read, and then I gotta go hang out with Skippy. He's back from his errands. You know what that means? He's back from buying me gifts. That's what that really actually means. Let's just do this. He's back from buying me gifts. Let's finish this up. Can you get Valium? That would be fabulous. You are amazing, Jennifer. I love it. And a smiley face. You're right. My dad is a huge part of my therapy. God, Jennifer, I didn't even know where to begin, so I won't bury you with it. But seriously, it's all his fault. Tell that to the parole board. Just kidding. Though it might not hurt to include that I'm from a small town in the Midwest where I was picked on for being gay and moved to New York City, where I tried to help other kids like me get jobs and earn living. That's one positive way of including the club thing. And you know, it is true. It is. He did do that. Every fucking young kid that came around him, he helped. He got them a job as a bar back, as a bartender, a server at those clubs. He helped a lot of those kids. He was nice like that. I mean, not so much to Angel, but In order to create a world where all the misfits could feel comfortable. That's what I want. That's a good point to bring up. I think it's a positive, true, and speaks to my character and caringness. Huh. Did you guys hear that? Any Daisy people out there? Did you hear what I just said? In order to create a world where all the misfits could feel comfortable. Yeah, they were a lot alike, but they were very different too. Did you remind me of each other though? Which one? Which one's open? I read you this one already. We already went through that one. Just put those there. We'll just leave that right there. Read you that one too. I better go inside the envelope because I've been reading a lot to you guys. Where's one in the envelope? Here we go. Type, but it looks like everywhere that there was a key that it didn't work, he put one in with a pen for me. Very considerate. Very considerate. Just gotta get the shoes in there correctly. Ta-da! Yeah. There we go. Michael would love it. He wouldn't want it this way. Oh, this is amazing. This is already amazing. December 8th, 2023. Listen to this. Can you see it? It's not gonna put it because I'm gonna hold it there. It says, "Dear Jennifer and Skipper Skedadders." I told you he had his own language, and if you watch Partymonster, they make fun of it in that movie. Just like the old Daisy does the Scooby Doo thing, this dude talks like that all the time. So, "Dear Jennifer and Skipper Skedadders." Hey there, thanks for the card. I'm so happy to hear from you again. I'm so sorry to hear about the drama going on with your mother. You know, she sounds just really crazy, Jennifer. Okay, hold on. Let me just, I don't want to read that part. Wow. I'm actually going to read this because this is crazy. And I don't remember this. And it just shows, I didn't realize this. And this is, thank you, Michael, for showing me this today, by the way. If I thought I missed my mom at all, this is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna read this word for word. I'm gonna let you decide. I was told you my mom hated me. Thanks for the card. I'm so happy to hear from you again. Blah, blah. You know, I didn't have your new address. So when I sent my Christmas cards out, I sent yours to your old address. Where you lived on top of your mom's house in the double. And I guess she saw your card or whatever, and she must have opened it because she sent me back a note in jail. She sent me back a note saying that you didn't live there anymore and that she was actually trying to find your new address. So my mother was so horrible to me that I moved out of the double home, scared of her. Excuse me. A letter from Michael came to my address. She opened it, read it, answered him in prison, wrote him a letter saying she was trying to find my new address, which she knew damn well I was running from her. So if that doesn't prove that I did the right thing by walking away from that narcissistic bitch who never loved me, wow. I didn't even really realize this till just now. Thanks, Michael, for letting me know that. And I guess she saw your card or whatever because she sent me a note saying that you didn't live there anymore and that she was actually trying to find your new address. Well, I didn't think anything of it. I mean, of course, I didn't know about all the drama you had just mentioned. And so, well, the other day when I saw your name and address on the outside of the envelope, I got excited that I remembered that your mom was looking for you. So before I even opened your letter, oh shit. I didn't, mm. BRB. Okay. So he's freaked out. I'm not even going to read all this to you because I'm learning it as I'm going. And whoa, my mother's crazier than I thought. My mother was reaching out to Michael Alig in prison, trying to get my address from him. And he was like, I thought you guys had a good relationship, but I wasn't going to give her your address because it seemed shady. Like, that's what he said. And I didn't really know any of that. I don't really remember this. I remember the time was crazy when I was getting away from my mom, but for her to open a letter of mine that came to the home, and it wasn't, I didn't live with her. It was 2 separate addresses. It was a double home. I lived upstairs. So she would have had to open the letter from Michael Alig from prison, sit down, write him a letter, think it through and say, hey, would you give me my daughter's new address? Everything's fine. When she knew I had just moved out of there because I was afraid of her and I was hiding from her. That is creepier than anything Michael's ever done. That's my mom, and that's why I don't talk to her. And that's why today on Christmas Eve, she will be 25 minutes away in Westlake, Ohio, with the rest of my family, having a beautiful, wealthy, wonderful Christmas. And I won't be there, and they won't even think about me. And I've been doing better ever since, and this just proved it. Wow, I can't wait to show this to Skippy because I wasn't really aware of all this. Thanks, Michael. Anyways, write me a real letter and explain everything about your crazy mother. Why is she being such a mommy dearest and what is wrong with her? I will give her no information, no worries. I hope you and Skipper had a nice holiday. XOXO, Michael. I'm put this one aside and should Skippy that one later. I didn't even realize all that had been what had happened. Okay, Elmira. That was a lot, you know? And I've been asking the past couple days for signs from both my father and Michael. If that wasn't a sign from him to me, I don't know what was. May 18th, 2006. Dear Jennifer, thanks for your letter. I couldn't believe it when I read that your psychiatrists were giving you Seroquel for your anxiety. Oh my God, Jennifer. I was given that a long time ago when I first came to jail right after the murder. Wow, talk about a knockout drug. It's really powerful and not in a good way either. I mean, not like Xanax or Rohypnol or even Valium. Seroquel left me with this awful, heavy, drugged out feeling the next day. I was in a daze all the time while taking it. I nodded out. I didn't like it at all. No wonder you haven't felt up to writing lately. It really zonks you out. Yeah, at this time, I guess what was 2006, I was going to a specific psychiatrist. I was having so many panic attacks, they put me on Seroquel. And I did research on it, and I said, "This is for, like, schizophrenic people, people with bipolar. I don't have any of that. I'm having panic attacks." Like, they're like the Indian doctors, like, "No, no, no, this will help you." Well, I had just started dating Skippy, and Skippy sometimes would check me. He'd be like, "Girl, what's up?" And I'd realize that I'd be sitting there drooling, not knowing what was going on, okay? One time in particular, I lost, like, I couldn't use my hands, or I stiffened up. My hands and my legs stiffened up, and that was, yeah, so I went to them and I told them, "What the fuck?" And it was a different psychiatrist that was there that week, and they said, "Holy shit, they're giving you enough for a horse. You're 95 pounds." I said, "Yeah, this is nuts." And that's when they put me on Klonopin. And so it began. Okay, la 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 la. Uh-oh, here he is talking about Macaulay Culkin again. You must hear that. No, Urgar, and I can't talk about that right now. Maybe one of my mods could tell Urgar I'm not gonna read chat anymore. We're talking, this is a memorial stream. And what I'm talking about, I'm talking about. I'll take questions later, but not right now. I gotta stay focused on this. It's just that that particular letter had to do with Michael Alig and my mother. I don't want to get sidetracked and talk about a different aspect. You feel me? I can't imagine what kind of white lies I may have told Macaulay Culkin when he came to see me. In fact, I don't think I told him any lies at all. I think he was just trying to come up with something to say on TV that would sound interesting or eventful. Because the truth is that our visit was pretty dull. I can't even think about anything. I'll make sure. I would have lied about. We didn't discuss the crime at all, in capital letters. We didn't discuss the crime at all. I mean, maybe it was something about a talk show, a white lie. I'm actually sort of curious to know what he's talking about. Maybe I'll ask James the next time I talk to him. I'm watching American Inventor right now. I don't know if you've been watching, but it was so sad to see the cute little Italian boy, Francisco, get voted off the show. I cried when they announced he'd be leaving. His poor father in the audience and his son were both crying. It was so sad, doubtably so, because the boy is so damn cute. I just wanted to give him a big hug. I have no idea what he's talking about. Oh boy, here we go. More about Larry. Guess who wrote me a letter the other day saying he wants to be my friend again? Larry. After not being part of my life for a year, he said he couldn't stay mad at me for blabbing to Esther that he had offered to help me get a lawyer to work with those people and try to make a deal to go home sooner. I don't know. That's what's written. And he wants to come visit me soon. We'll see what happens. I mean, on one hand, I really do like Larry and have missed him in my life. But then on the other, I feel really crappy that someone who was supposedly such a dear old friend would do something like that to me and not be in touch for a year. So I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I did write him back. We'll see what he does now. I can't believe I see the parole board in less than 4 months. I need to start getting everything in order, letters of support from friends and family, places to live, job offers. My friend Walt Paper I know very well, he also became a very famous makeup artist. I don't know if he does it for like magazines or movies or, but look up Walt Paper. He's something else. I think he has a YouTube channel. He does a lot. Walt Paper wrote the other day telling me that he has his NA, Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and he may be able to offer some help. They could maybe help me with a job or a place to live, maybe even a sponsor to get. I'm anxious and I'm scared. I'm supposed to be starting a program soon called Transitional Services that is supposed to walk me through the whole parole process, show me examples of letters to the parole board, etc. This is going to happen very soon, like any day now. Anyways, prime time is on now. That means it's 10 o'clock. Time to shut off the typewriter. Just wanted to say hi and see how you're doing. Write me again when you get a chance, Jennifer, and I hope you're starting to feel better. XOXO, Michael. So that was a good one. I'll put that one back in the envelope because it came in this one. You want to do one more? This one seems pretty, don't forget the fire. Don't fucking forget it. That's not Photoshop. That is me and RuPaul. And there's even pictures on the back. And I can show you. There's a real good one. This one where above my fingers. This is Ernie Glam with feathers on his face. This is at the Aqualon in Cleveland. In the middle, that's Goldilocks, the club kid I told you about, the dreads who moved to Rome. Here on the end, that's Angela Verdun. Angela, owner of Aqualon. Me and RuPaul Poo there. RuPaul Poo, you better work. Real Housewife, work. Jennifer. So, let me hold this up a little closer. I know it sucks. StreamYard is a cock. But I think you can see things. Oh, let me just. There you go. So you can see Ernie Glam with feathers on his face, Goldilocks in the middle, and Angela Verdun. So Angela Verdun was friends with Peter Gation. Peter Gation owned the Limelight. Angela Verdun owned Aqualon. Google Aqualon. You can see the inside of the club. It was a real thing. You heard what George Wayne from Paper Magazine said about it. We'll read it again. Have you heard about the now famous Bacchanalia, one of the America's top 5 nightclubs? The Aqualon. George Wayne from the paper wrote that. After he went to a previous party that we had, that previous party was Michael Alig's birthday. And that's the video that I have on my page today. You'll see pictures of me and RuPaul and Sacred Boy. That was Michael Alig's party. This party was the second one. I'll read this again. Did you hear about the now famous Bacchanalia at one of America's top 5 nightclubs? Aqualon. In Cleveland, Ohio. I'm not saying this because it was my birthday, but the Aqualon truly rates. Just ask any of the 20 New York celebutantes who came along to make this my most memorable birthday ever. And it was memorable because me and Rue were there. Don't forget it. Okay. This one looks important. It's the only one that looks like this. It's probably after my address change or something. Where's this from? Elmira. But then his name is written. 978-6595. Let's read it. This is going to be the last one, and then I'm going to let you people go because I have fucking Christmas shit to do. And I'm sure you do too. But this was important. And today is the day that Michael passed away. 5 years ago today. We wear my tiara for you and my sparkles and my tutu. And I still got them on. Nine-inch heel platform I dressed for him. My club name was Princess Jen. Go look at my shorts today. It's proven. You'll see Michael and Ernie talking about me and holding one of my dolls and calling me Princess Jen. I'm just being careful. I'm not going to read you everything. Sacred Boy is back in New York. I've talked a lot about Sacred Boy, and Sacred Boy is in the video on my page today. He's the one with the black hair and the red lipstick. Janny, asshole, piece of shit, has clipped my Club Kid video that is on my page today that shows me another person, and this person in with black hair and red lipstick. That person with the black hair and the red lipstick is my friend Sacred Boy. He was a very famous club kid. Janny has put it on his page and told people that that's Skip. Okay, Skip is not a club kid and would not be caught dead in red lipstick. So let's be clear. The person that we're talking about is Sacred Boy. Sacred Boy is from Youngstown, Ohio. His name is Brian Schneidmiller. He's now a famous horror movie makeup artist. And we were friends long after the club kids while I was on Facebook. Since I'm off Facebook, I've lost touch with him. But Brian, I hope you see this. I'm gonna try to find him and tag him. That's Sacred Boy. He is a very famous New York club kid. But mind you, he was my roommate. Okay, he worked at Aqualon. He lived with me in my loft. So the first time the club kids came, he met them, and they were like, "Oh my god," and he was like, "Oh my god," and they all fell in love. He didn't leave that time. I think he left. Either it was the next time they came or shortly before or after that. I can't remember, but he was gone. I know because he paid rent in my apartment, and we didn't have a roommate anymore. Also, his name was Brian Schneidmiller. We all had to have club names at the time. We all had fake names, blah 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 became RuPaul, blah 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 became this. I became Princess Jen. Brian couldn't think of a club name, and I named him. I said, "Your name should be Sacred Boy because you're a sacred, sweet boy." And you could see him in a lot of New York club kid photos, and he'll be wearing a Cleveland Indians hat with like blood dripping out of his mouth. He always did the horror art. There's famous pictures of him dressed up as like the It Clown. A lot of pictures of him with Desi, Paper, Richie Rich, who's now Heatherette. Uh, he's just Brian from Youngstown, but he was so fabulous and so famous that one time he left with them and he never came back. He still is in New York, to my knowledge. I recently saw an interview with him on TV, and he's still doing art, and he still looks cute. And I'd love to get in touch with him again too. So I want to make sure you guys know who I'm talking about when I talk about Sacred, and I want to make sure that when you go on Janny's fucking page, and why are you doing that? Why would you ever do that? I would rather have you stick pins in your eyes. But Janny has put fucking poor Sacred Boy on his page telling you all that it's my husband. No. No. And no and no. Okay? So let's go on. Sacred Boy is back here in New York. For a while, he moved up to Maine or New Hampshire or something. He was writing me a lot from up there. He misses Cleveland. He misses you. He misses the loft. Then he moved to a great apartment on Christopher Street. Now he moved again, and I haven't gotten his new address. But I know he's doing makeup. I know he's dressing up. I know he's partying. Jenny said she just saw him walking down the street in the East Village. I told her next time she sees him to get his address for me, and I'll send it to you, Jennifer, when I get it. I would love that. I miss you, Brian. I miss my Sacred Boy, and I see that he's alive and well and working and sober. I would really love to get in touch with Brian. I would love to get in touch with Ernie. Of course, I'd love to get in touch with Rue, but I'm sure that won't happen. Rue is busy. Rue got shit to do. He don't give a fuck about meeting me back in the day. So that's probably wrong. He was one of the nicest people I ever met. And I know for a fact that Rue never did drugs with us. He may have drank with us, but he never was doing the drugs we were doing. But he was hanging right there with us. It was so sweet and so helpful. I love Drew. I love the fact that you're a stripper now. That's what club kids turn into. Wait, that's what club kids should turn into. A fabulous woman who looks as amazing as you should be a fabulous woman on stage still, Jennifer. Wait. I couldn't believe it when I saw the recent photos you sent. I'm very impressed. I guess you get a lot of exercise stripping. I hit the gym myself 3 times a week. If you can believe that, I feel pretty good. I suppose compared to a lot of my friends, I'm healthy and young looking. though this doesn't mean I'm not going to have a little work done when I go home. It's incredible what a few years of sobriety can do for someone, right? Oh boy, there's a lot more. Let's just see. So, tell me something. You're totally out of the club scene, or you're totally out of the club thing in Cleveland, question mark. What did you do after Aqualon? Did you open anything else? What about your warehouse? What about that huge place that we stayed? I noticed the up on your address, which indicates upstairs. I suspect meaning it's an industrial space. I guess it must be pretty easy to find a raw space in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, the Rust Belt, all those abandoned factories and warehouses. I would just love to find something cool like that to live in. I just don't know if I could handle living in the Midwest again. It's just so inexpensive, though, too. Imagine what I could find out there for a few $100,000. Well, yeah. I've been trying to keep myself busy in here, writing a lot. I'm writing my autobiography. It's called Aligula. Aligul Aligula. Right now and just recently I'm sorry, a lot of this is smudged. Hold on. I'm writing my autobiography right now, Aligula, and just recently got an editor, a great lady named Esther Haynes. Esther Haynes. He talked about Esther a lot. Apparently, she was very nice to him. Wait, where is she? Who is an editor at Jane magazine and who is so smart and cool. I feel lucky having her on board. And she has given me such great direction. I'm also painting some, mostly portraits of old friends, and imagery that takes me back to Clubland, World of Wonder. The people who made the movie are publishing a photo book right now. It's a collection of my best paintings that will be a project where the proceeds will go to the Lower East Side Girls Club where my friend Jenny works. World of Wonder, we've read this 3 times today. Where the fuck did that money go? I'm very excited about this because they're going to make a big book launch hosted by all the fabulous people in Hollywood. James is talking to Marilyn Manson. Ugh, Ryan from Cleveland. Ugh. No, he's not fabulous, but I digress. James is talking to Marilyn Manson. You know what? James would talk to Marilyn Manson, by the way, about helping out and hosting a coinciding gallery show of my paintings. It's weird because James went to a recent art show by the drummer of Manson's band, and the centerpiece of the show was a huge portrait of me. So James started talking to him, and it turned out he was a fan of my work. So now they're friends. It's just incredible to me hearing about people who have heard about me. I don't think I will ever get used to it, Jennifer. I see myself as boring and not famous. I'm going to add your name and number to the new list that they have added here. The way it works here is I have to submit your name and number since you've moved, and your number is changed to my counselor who will add it to my phone list, and then I can call you whenever you want me to. Well, within certain hours of the day, of course. It's usually best for me to use the phone between the hours of 7 and 9:30 p.m. Oh, I got a neck ache from this. Okay, this is it. This is the last of it that I'm reading. I'm so glad you gave me your new address, Jennifer. I know Ernie would want it as well, and he would be happy to hear from you as well. If you want his address, let me know and I'll just dig it out for you. And thank you so much for offering to send me anything for my commissary and offering to take my calls. Yes, it would make things in here slightly easier for me. It's very simple, actually. I do not think Macaulay Culkin is hot. I wish I could see the movie, Party Monster. But so far, the only thing I have seen is a small clip on a TV show. I did see the entire documentary and some of the other stuff. He's talking about the shockumentary. The E Hollywood True Story thing. There is an E True Hollywood story, but it's a little biased about him, guys. So he saw, let me reread that. I saw the E Hollywood True Story thing and the American Justice show. There is an American Justice show about him, a crime show. But so far, haven't had a chance to see the movie, the actual movie Party Monster. I've heard about it. Everyone has their opinion. I've seen pictures of Macaulay Culkin as me in magazines, and sometimes it's a little creepy to me. Someone else is trying to be me. But he does look like me a bit. It's funny because whenever I get letters from people who are fans who have never met me, I always get the impression that they think they're writing a letter to Macaulay Culkin and not me. Well, it's getting late and I want this to get out. I hope you had a great holiday. Merry Christmas, everyone. From Princess Jennifer, the old Cleveland club kid, the real housewife of Cleveland. I hope you had a great holiday and that you write me back as soon as you can because someday you can come visit me. And I have a rich friend named Larry. I think you know him, who comes to see me 3 times a year, and he always brings whoever I want with him. I can work it out so you don't have to pay. Sometimes he brings Jenny. Sometimes he brings Ernie. He brought tons of drag queens before, Mia. I don't know if you remember her. She came to your club once or twice. I do not remember Mia, the drag queen. I am sorry. I don't know if you're far or close to where I am. Do you? In any event, thanks again for taking the time to write me. And maybe I'll be talking to you on the phone soon. Make sure you send your new info to the. Bye for now. XOXO Michael. Yay! This is what we did today. We did the Christmas cards. Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you for tuning in. We now know that Marilyn Manson would be very interested in my art, but Marilyn Manson is just Brian from Youngstown. And when he wanted to hang out with me and my friends, when we were, 22 at the Nine of Clubs, and he came in with his lunchbox and his long trench coat and he wanted to hang out with us, we denied him. We shunned him like the Amish. I have hung out with him since then. He was no better. So I'll be keeping these for myself, Brian. And I think I should not keep them in these envelopes anymore. You see my walls. I have pictures everywhere. I think that I should get a nice frame with different places and put these up. So maybe we keep these out. Maybe we keep the Christmas cards out. We definitely keep this out. I told you all the places you can see Michael. There is this upcoming documentary on Angel Melendez, who Michael killed, my friend as well, and they are using this in it. I don't think they're going to use my name in it. I don't think I'm that important, but they're going to use this in it, and it is mine, and they got that information from me. So I'll let you know if I know anything about that. If you see it before me, you let me know. But I think I'll probably find out before you. Oh, yes, this I want to keep out too. This original flyer, it's very important. Unfortunately, it's damaged. You can see there's 2 pieces in the corner that I ripped off. Or something happened. I'm not sure what, actually. So, I didn't read you all of these today. A lot of these are still like this. So many are still in there. And all of these still, I didn't get to. Dear Jennifer, thanks for your letter and cute pictures. I love the ones of your dogs with the little boots on their feet. They look so tiny and cute. I love your little dogs. One last bit of Aligula with the X through it. The McDonald's event was our first outlaw party to be held in an actual place of business. And this made the setup a bit more difficult. With employees and security guards looming, we could hardly spend an afternoon bringing in a sound system, putting together a bar, carrying in cases of booze, cups, etc. Everything had to be done quickly, coordinated, guerrilla style. A friend of ours named Larry Seidler, we got his name, Seidler. Larry Seidler. That's it. That's the one I went on a date with to Morton's. He brought his own fucking champagne. He was so rude. Okay, I digress. A friend of ours named Larry Seidler had a black Jeep Cherokee, and he did a lot of the running around, picking up vodka mixers, then coming to Red Zone at 3:45 a.m., driving Kiyoki, Julie Jules, James St. James, and myself to Times Square. Here, at precisely 1 minute till 4, we could see cabs lining up, large groups of the club kids approaching stealthily from every direction. My stomach fluttered anxiously as Larry pulled up in front of McDonald's and we began handing bottles. Sit. That's all you get. And Tiny Mugamoo. Mugsy, what's this? Let me move this for you. Look, it's YouTube. Oh, exactly. Exactly. It says fucking what? It is Christmas, yo. So, I will sit here for literally 2 minutes. And if you have a question for me, I'll take it. But after that, I'm out. Got a question? You better ask me now. It's your one and done. Heather says, hi, Tiny Mugamoo. I know. Heather, my tiara is giving me a little bit of a headache. There, that's better. To rearrange it. Yeah, there's Tiny Mugamoo. 25 years old. Made it to Christmas. Aren't you guys excited? Because I am. Bugsy made it to Christmas. And he's 25. And I have 9 inch heels on. I'm gonna do a bong hit. I can't believe nobody has a question. I think that's wild. I can't see how many is in chat. Oh, 14 in chat. The lurkers are like, I ain't asking her shit about that weird shit. All right, I feel you. But where's the sound? They're very loud on the floor. Do you not agree? I mean, what the actual fuck? How about anything? I don't know. My YouTube's not working perfect. Nothing will sing to me. Can you ask what years I was a stripper? I was a stripper for 20 years. And before I was a stripper, I worked in the strip bar as a cocktail waitress, and I swore I would never strip. And then one day I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? Half these girls look ugly as fuck. I'm way cuter than them, and my body is way better." But I didn't know what I was doing. So I watched for a long time, and then one day I went up to the guy and I was like, "I can do this." And he was like, "Okay, audition." And I auditioned, and they were like, it was a done deal. I never looked back. So what was it? So mid-90s, and then I was married in 2007, and I quit the week I got married. Skippy saved me from stripping. So I worked at the dive bars of Cleveland. I worked at the mediocre, awesome clubs of Cleveland. I worked at the top tier gentlemen's clubs of Cleveland. I worked at Crazy Girls in Hollywood, California, and at Seventh Vale right down the street, which is in the Motley Crue song "Girls, Girls, Girls." So I love to talk about my stripping experience. I was an actress. It was a great living. I was not a whore, but I went in there and I acted like I was one, and I went home counting my money. And I loved recounting those days. And because of that, I have amazing muscle memory. I have a stripper pole in my house. So I wish I knew what was wrong with my YouTube. Well, let's try RuPaul again. No, I can't get any volume, people. No matter, I have an echo here. I can't get volume on my YouTube. I need my husband. That's it. I'm doing a bong hit. I'll spin for you in these heels, and I'm gonna go spend Christmas with my husband in this fucking outfit. Could you die? I hope you enjoyed the stream. Michael, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I know you did because you're a ham, and he's been giving me signs for the past few days. Everybody go subscribe to his channel, the PU, at the PEE-EW. Go look at my channel today. I've only made 2 shorts. The one short is him and Ernie talking about me as Princess Jennifer with my doll. And the other one is me at the actual Michael Alig birthday party before this with Sacred Boy and RuPaul. And that is me. So go check it out. Thank you for caring. Thank you for not judging. You were a cocktail waitress for years too? Yes, good money. Good money in cocktail waitress. Saying, hey, you can fucking buy a house on that shit. But I stepped that shit up. You feel me? I respect the girls that did though too. So love to Michael Alig today. But I just want to say more important than that. Love to Angel Melendez today. Angel, you were my buddy. I hope I did a respect talking about you today. The respect in that is he doesn't want to be talked about a lot. How do I know that? Because his family has said so. And I know that when I created his page, and I told you there is still a memorial on Facebook to him that I created. I gave that to someone else who runs it. I met Angel twice, and when I say that, he stayed at my house for 4 days one time, and then a year later came back and stayed at my house the next time for 4 days. I had a big loft apartment, but he was hanging out on the couch next to me. We were sitting there doing drugs together, talking for 3 days straight. He was an amazing person. He didn't have a bad bone in his body. What he did have was a lot of drugs. And people took advantage of him for that. And that's what happened. And that's what Michael did to him. So I'm not talking Michael up for what he did. Shame on Michael for what he did. And he knows I disapprove. And that's why I gave him tough love and walked away from him 2 weeks before Christmas or 2 months and didn't approve of him going back on drugs because of Angel. So I hope I've brought some enlightenment to Angel. Like I said, there will be a documentary on ID channel coming out about him. I hope it's great. I wish it would come out sooner than later. more needs to be talked about Angel, but his poor body did float in the Hudson River, and his family, who is it doesn't they don't speak English. It's Melendez. I don't know. Is that Latino? What is that? I don't know. But they don't speak English. They only speak Spanish, and they let it be known that they did not want any part of their son being talked about in these documentaries. They weren't going to speak about it. They don't want any part of this. So I'm giving them the respect of kind of leaving his part out of this. He was a dear friend of mine. What happened to him was grotesque. But I didn't have it in my soul to walk away from Michael when everyone else did. If I thought Michael did it out of maliciousness, I would have. But Michael cried for what he did. He felt bad for what he did. People in life make mistakes. My husband has made a mistake. Look at him now. Unfortunately, Michael didn't make it. And we're going to remember that today. At this time, 5 years ago, Michael was alive. He killed himself an hour before midnight. He didn't even make it to Christmas. He died on Christmas Eve. So let's remember that, okay? Let's remember why we did the stream. It's to bring awareness to a lot of things. I'm not going to name them all. But it's not to be like, hey, I was friends with Michael Alig and I was a club kid. I want you guys to know the real Michael. I want you to hear some of what really happened. I want you to know a little bit of him. I want you to do your research. I want you to watch the documentary. I want you to watch Glory Days. You can pass over Partymonster, but it probably needs to be seen, right? Cheers, Michael. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you are. Make sure you like this stream. It's very important because, not because I want your numbers. I want those too, duh. But we want everyone to hear this. If you don't know who Michael Alig is, now you do. If you are a Michael Alig person, you know who he is and you might have the wrong idea. Maybe you get some facts today. If nothing else, Merry Christmas. And thanks for coming into my channel and hanging out with me. So I apologize for not reading chat, but I did need to stay on point. I get easily distracted by chat. I was going to turn this chat off today. There's a possibility for me to do so. I didn't think that was fair to you. And I think there was some things that maybe you guys want to say, like the guy in the beginning, like, why are you friends with that guy who cut him up? Well, I stood here for hours and I told you. That's why. So rather than you coming in here and trolling me and being an asshole, I hope that you now understand and you have soul and you understand that people make mistakes in life. And look, he didn't end up being some rich guy. He ended up being dead on this day 5 years ago. So let's have a little respect. Let's celebrate Michael Allen. Let's celebrate Angel Melendez. And I love you all. And my hands hurt because I got amazing tattoos. Finally, I'm wearing 9-inch heels. I'll go out with a spinny poo. I dressed for Michael. This is Princess Jen. That's what I was known as in the club kids. Wearing 9-inch heels. And a pink tutu. And an aqua sequin beaded something rather with a tiara. And a Hello Kitty necklace. So, this was for Michael. And this was for Angel. And this was for you, YouTube. I love you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not judging. Thank you for looking at it with different eyes and maybe learning something. Merry Christmas. If you have sparkles or anything sequin or glittery today, why don't you just bust it out? Merry Christmas to you all.